Part 18. Fantasy, I Robbed Millions of Saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 175. Ding ding, dong dong. In the Jade Blood Demon sect, just when everyone still felt that their minds were in chaos, Qin Changshen's piano music sounded. The sound of the piano, like the sound of flowing water on a high mountain, reverberated throughout the mountain protecting formation of the Blue Blood Demon sect. In an instant, the whole world seemed to be rendered into a painting by the sound of the piano. A beautiful picture of fairy spirit and white clouds. It's just that before everyone understood what this painting was about. Chi 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 chi. Chi 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 chi. Chi 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 chi. The sounds of long swords piercing the air came one after another. Then everyone saw a scene they would never forget. In the sky, it seems that a door to the heavenly palace has opened. Then, one after another, figures with flying swords on their feet rushed out from the gate of the immortal palace. It was as if what was opened was a sword immortal realm, and each and every one inside was a nine-heaven sword immortal walking with a sword. Densely packed, endless, surging out. The raging sword energy seemed to occupy every corner of the world. In an instant, there was only one pattern in everyone's eyes. Sword. All kinds of swords. The entire world, including mountains, rivers, flowers, plants, and trees, seems to have turned into swords. Puff 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 puff. Before anyone could react, sword lights flashed one after another. Those disciples of the Blue Blood Demon sect in the Chi-Si realm have been penetrated by countless sword chi. Then with a splash, it also fell downwards. In an instant, in the huge Jade Blood Demon sect, there were less than 20 figures left standing in the air. They also include Qin Changshen, Lu Ruyan, Amo Ran, and Xiaomi Lier. The remaining dozen or so people are naturally the Jade Blood sect master and a dozen elders of the Jade Blood Demon sect in the Unity realm. Devil. This person is simply a devil. Sect master probably can't kill the entire Blue Blood Demon sect in just one thought. I don't want to die. Two heaven-defying powerhouses in the Unity realm, existences that are unreachable in the eyes of others, were actually frightened by Qin Changshen at this time, and their legs were weak. When they were practicing magic skills, they preyed on several or dozens of people. There are even hundreds or thousands of them. But they have never imagined the image of one person, playing the piano, killing hundreds of thousands of people. At this moment, they finally realized that those who were killed by them are the prey who are used as cauldrons and sacrifices scared to death. Facing death is really terrifying. Especially facing a god of death who is more like a devil than demon cultivators like them. But it was too late. The sword immortals walking one after another were like locusts passing through the border, raging in. Buzz buzz buzz. Deo realms were propped up one after another, and various physical constitutions and blood vessels were stimulated. But it doesn't help at all. Have you ever seen the picture of locusts passing through the border, leaving no grass growing, and even a towering tree being eaten away in an instant? These densely packed nine-heaven sword immortals were much more terrifying than those locusts. Several elders in the early stages of the Unity realm watched helplessly as their Deo domain barrier was torn into pieces by the densely packed sword energy. Then, I don't know how many sword energy passed through my body. Directly smash them into a piece of flesh and blood, and then continue to smash them into a piece of blood mist, and then, the blood mist continues to be smashed into nothingness. It was as if he had never existed, leaving no trace at all. How could he be so strong? What realm is he in, and what kind of combat skills does he use? At this time, there are only 7 people left in the entire Jade Blood Demon sect, including Lin Rushan. Among them, Lin Rushan is the 7th heaven of the Unity realm. The other 6 people, one is the 5th heaven of the Unity realm, and 2 they are the 4th heaven of the Union realm, and the three are the third heaven of the Union realm. Such a lineup can be called the most powerful and invincible existence in this area. But now, each of them, their faces look like they were as frightened as if they had seen a ghost. Just now, when Qin Changsheng said that killing them did not require physical strength or blood, they all felt that this guy was really too arrogant. Even if you are at the late stage of the Union realm, you would not dare to let this go. Wild talk. But now, they finally recognize the reality. They are not arrogant, they are really just telling the truth. Until now, that guy really wiped out their entire blue blood demon sect without using their blood or physique. Look like this. On the flying palace, two girls, Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran, had beautiful eyes, whose pupils were dilated. Their breathing had been stagnant for a long time, half of it was because of the shock. He forgot to breathe. He was half shocked and didn't dare to gasp loudly. He was afraid that two of the 9 heaven sword immortals around him would accidentally fly over. Especially Mo Ran. Although he knew that Qin Changsheng had split Xian with a sword. Things about the holy land of the underworld. But after all, I have never seen it with my own eyes. Qin Changsheng took action. At this sight, his heart was instantly confused. This Qin Changsheng is indeed many times stronger than when he was in the Hunshan demon sect. Really can he still catch up with this guy? What Mo Ran doesn't know is, even Lu Ruyan, who has seen every scene in the Xianming Holy Land with his own eyes, is confused at this moment. Why does this guy seem so strong? This time on the road, he really didn't practice at all. Everyone came here eating meat and drinking wine. We are all fine, but why are you inexplicably strong again? Brother, come on. Brother is so powerful, kill these bad guys quickly and grab more delicious food for Xiaomi Lier. Boom, boom. Xiaomi Lier's voice suddenly came from beside her. The two girls were startled, and then, a mess. The strong men in the Unity realm were all frightened like that, and this little lowly was actually okay? While eating the top quality spiritual stones, he clapped his hands from time to time to cheer Qin Changsheng, come on. Puff puff. In mid-air, two elders of the blue blood demon sect from the third level of the Unity realm were struggling to inject true energy into the Tao domain barrier to resist the dense sword energy attacks. After hearing Xiaomi Lier's words and then seeing Xiaomi Lier eating the spirit stone, he was momentarily lost in thought. At this moment, the Dao realm barrier between these two people was torn apart instantly. Then, these two people also turned into a piece of flesh and blood mist, and finally nothingness. They are all monsters, they are all monsters. Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran were both shocked and dumbfounded. Those two strong men in the Union realm died tragically. Of course, even without Xiaomi Lier's troubles, they were already exhausted and couldn't hold on for long. Let's unite with Dao domain to resist this guy. Although Lin Rushan was still relatively relaxed at this time. But seeing the tragic deaths of other strong men in the Unity realm one after another, a bad premonition arose in my heart, so I opened my mouth to remind him. At this time, his physique and bloodline have been activated to their strongest state. The rays of Tao Yun around him flowed like the wind, and a shadow of a 9-star jasper snake more than 1,000 feet long lingered behind him. Okay, everyone merges their own realms into the Lord's realm. Several other strong men in the Unity realm agreed one after another. Then, everyone's Tao domain barriers merged into one, and they were all integrated into Lin Rushan's Dao domain barriers. At the same time, Lin Rushan took out a green token in his hand. In an instant, the entire blue blood demon sect's mountain protecting formation stirred up. On top of the mountains, black demonic energy was steaming and rubbing into the forest. In the mountainous Dao realm barrier, the place where they were seemed to have become a demonic Shura dojo, with towering demonic aura. And the outside world, the phantoms of the 9 heavens sword immortal are still frantically bombarding their Dao realm barrier. Two distinct worlds collide with each other. The void of heaven and earth at the junction is constantly being torn, collapsed, and extinguished, and then restored, and then continues to be torn, collapsed, and extinguished. The entire void of heaven and earth seems to have been really shattered. In the void, matter that did not originally belong to this world was seeping out crazily. On the flying palace, Luruyan and Amoran were already shocked beyond measure by this shocking scene. They have all seen the scene of tearing open the cracks in space, and now they can do it even if they try their best. But the power of the law of the great avenue of heaven and earth is there. Even if the void is torn apart, it will be restored soon. And even if it does not recover, there will be an invisible layer of great law that is isolating everything and will not let the breath of the void flow into this world. There is only one situation, that is, the combat power is so strong, that it can break the law. However, that is something that only those at the Yunhai realm can do. Qin Changshen's piano sound attack actually did it. Although the laws of only a small area of space collapsed, it was still very remarkable. Didi, congratulations to the Holy Master, he sensed the energy of Taixu and was able to repair 10% of the Demon God Tower. In his mind, the system prompt message suddenly appeared. Qin Changshen was stunned for a moment. The Demon God Tower has not been mentioned by the system for a long time. He came to the eastern wilderness continent and plundered so many sect holy lands. Something that failed to enter the system's eyes. Unexpectedly, after he shattered the law of the void, he was actually reminded by the system. This also gave Qin Changshen a new understanding of the level of the Demon God Tower. To repair it, he actually needed to use something outside the void. Doesn't it mean that, the strength of this thing must be above the king level of the first Palm Law? It is really extraordinary that such a treasure can appear in the gilded domain. But no matter what, the opportunity should not be missed. With a thought in Qin Changshen's mind, the Demon God Tower flew out from the Zhangkong Ring and landed on top of the collapsed space. The next moment, the Demon God Tower, which had been unable to be activated before, seemed to be lit up, and black magic lines bloomed out, and then rotated in mid-air. Wisps of Taixu Qi flew into the Demon God Tower from the cracks in the cracked space. No. It's not just the Qi of Taixu, the Dao realm barriers of those from the Blue Blood Demon sect are actually within the devouring range of the Demon God Tower. What is this? Why do I feel that my demonic energy is being devoured crazily? Mine too, not at all under control. Oh my God, what appears on that thing is an ancient magic pattern. This is something that only the ancient demons know how to do. Is this the magic weapon of the ancient demon? How is it possible, how could this kid have such a monster? I can't help it anymore, I really can't suppress my demonic energy, and it's being sucked into the little black tower. Several elders of the Unity realm said anxiously, with shock and horror in their words. Although the leader of the Blue Blood sect, Lin Rushan, did not speak, but his complexion was also very ugly at this time. The thing that guy threw, it is really too strong, and they can feel that the thing has not been activated at all, it is just running on its own. When absorbing the Taixu Qi, it absorbs their demonic Qi by the way. It's just like this, let them, the strong ones in the Unity realm, be unable to resist. If that thing is activated, how strong will it be? Young master, what kind of magic weapon are you? How does it feel? It looks so powerful. In the flying palace, Luruyan couldn't help but ask. Ah! Magic weapon. This is not a magic weapon, I didn't use it to stimulate, just to absorb the energy of Taixu. Wait a minute, why can't these old bastards seem to be unable to stand it anymore? Don't be like this song of mine has just begun. Qin Changshen was originally concentrating on playing the piano and controlling the phantoms of the Nine Heaven Sword Immortal. After hearing Luruyan's reminder, he realized that after the Demon God Tower was sacrificed, the power that circulated at will quickly killed several people from the Blue Blood Demon section. I was crushed, The secret path was not good. I finally had the opportunity to perform a complete rhythmic combat skill. Why was it disrupted by the demon god tower? Puff puff. Within the Dao domain barrier, Lin Rushan and others heard Qin Changshen's words and vomited blood directly. One was suppressed by the demon god tower. The second one was angry at Qin Changshen's words. Do you think we want this? It's you who sacrificed this ancient magic weapon, okay. We can't bear it, so why is it our fault? Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 176. No. I really can't hold it anymore. Your Majesty, please spare my life. I am willing to surrender. The two elders of the Blue Blood Demon sect in the Unity Realm, who had been struggling to support themselves, suddenly reacted when they heard Qin Changshen's sarcastic words. It seems that, they haven't used all their strength until now. How can they withstand this? Surrender? Sorry, I am only interested in saints. Others never accept submission, let alone the heinous trash like you, the Jade Blood Demon sect. Qin Changsheng said slowly while playing the piano. Everyone was speechless for a while, only interested in the saint? Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran also rolled their eyes with their beautiful eyes. This bad guy never hides it. His intentions were outright evil. But he was right about one thing. The people of the Jade Blood Demon sect were really heinous trash, and they were notorious in this area. The two Hunshan Demon sect were notorious. The two saints were almost harmed by the Jade Blood Demon sect. From this aspect, although Qin Changsheng robbed them, he also saved them from the Jade Blood Demon sect. You guys, let me down so much. In this case, please help this sect leader. GG. The Jade Blood sect master suddenly laughed strangely, and then the 9-star Jade Blood spirit snake shadow behind him suddenly opened its bloody mouth and swallowed the surrounding elders of the Unity Realm. Sect leader, old man Lin Rushan, how dare you? Son of a bitch, you had this plan in mind when you asked us to merge the Dao realms, right? Lin Rushan, you old beast. Several elders in the Unity Realm had their eyes split open one by one. They suddenly realized why Lin Rushan wanted to merge the realms just now when they and others were struggling to support themselves. After all, it was quite easy for Lin Rushan to compete on his own at that time. They also said that the sect leader wanted to take care of them and make everyone stick together and work together. Now it seems, this guy is so ambitious that he is actually leaving a backup plan for himself. But even if you understand what's going on, it's too late and there's nothing you can do about it. There were countless attacks from the 9 heavenly sword immortals in front of them, and the devouring of the magic weapon of the ancient demon, they had no time to take care of the rear. Moreover, Lin Rushan's cultivation level was at least 2 heavens higher than theirs, how could they resist? In the end, several elders of the Unity Realm, with unwillingness and anger on their faces, were swallowed up by the forest-like 9-star Jade Blood spiritual snake phantom. This little green man is indeed a green being. He gets so crazy that he even eats his own people. In mid-air, Qin Changsheng sighed with emotion. The two girls looked helpless. This guy actually has the heart to make sarcastic remarks. Boy, I admit that you are strong. But have you ever heard of a saying, a giant python swallows an elephant and is so powerful that it can break through the sky? After Lin Rushan swallowed those elders of the Unity Realm, he laughed loudly. Then, the green demonic energy around him began to steam and grow crazily. At this time, he really seemed to be a fish who had swallowed a whole head. Like a giant python, the size of an elephant is growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. But this is not over yet. The 9-star Jade Blood spirit snake behind him actually opened its bloody mouth and covered the surrounding mountain peaks. Swallowed it. Every time he swallowed a mountain peak, the figure of Lin Rushan, the leader of the Blue Blood sect, grew bigger. After dozens of peaks were swallowed, the phantom of Niujuxing blue blood spirit snake fell into Lin Rushan's body. At this time, Lin Rushan has truly turned into a towering green giant. His body is 1,000 feet tall, like an ancient monster that has descended into the world and looks out in all directions. Bang bang bang. Lin Rushan's palm, which was as big as a mountain, suddenly pushed out. Tens of thousands of Nine Heaven Sword immortal phantoms were crushed directly. This made Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran frightened again. Obviously, this Lin Rushan must have used some kind of heaven-defying demonic skill to improve his cultivation to a level beyond his own. At this time, his combat power is probably comparable to the 8th heaven of the Union Realm, or even the 9th heaven of the Union Realm. But Qin Changsheng, his expression remained unchanged, and he strummed the strings happily. That's it, I thought you could swallow all these thousands of mountain peaks. With your current small body, I'm afraid you still can't finish listening to the music of my piano. Qin Changsheng said leisurely. The two girls were speechless again. This guy's heart is really big. How much do you hope that your enemies will be as strong as possible? Boy, don't be so arrogant. Even if I burn my innate essence and blood, I will eat you alive to avenge my blue blood demon section. In mid-air, the green giant Lin Rushan, who looked like a mountain, shouted angrily. Every word sounded like thunder. Then it depends on you, whether you can finish listening to my song. Qin Changsheng said, and the sound of the guqin in his hand suddenly changed. In an instant, the color of the world changed. Dao lines one by one, like musical notes, flew out from between Qin Changsheng's hands and the guqin. It took only a blink of an eye. Densely packed avenue patterns cover the entire sky. Shock. An ancient character appears in the center of the avenue pattern. Boom, boom. Great pressure descended from that ancient character in the sky. He actually suppressed the 1,000-foot-tall Hulk Lin Rushan and dropped him several hundred feet. Both of his legs were suppressed and buried halfway into the ground. Impossible, you can't be so strong. I do not believe. Lin Rushan looked up to the sky and roared angrily. The jade bone staff in his hand suddenly revealed a dazzling brilliance, turning the whole world into a green color, trying to compete with the dense lines of the avenue. Ding ding, dong dong. Ouch. As the sound of Qin Changshen's piano changed again, a dragon's roar was heard. All the lines of the avenue turned into a dragon of the avenue, with its head pointing towards the sky, as if in provocation. Destroy. Another mysterious ancient character appeared in the sky. Then, something that no one expected happened. The dragon of the Great Dao was not shattered by the word annihilation. Instead, he used his dragon's mouth to catch the ancient character Me, and then bumped headlong into Lin Rushan's huge body. The next moment, the words annihilate appeared one after another on Lin Rushan's body. With every word that appears, a crack will appear in his area, faintly revealing the red flesh inside. Later, his huge body was already densely covered with cracks. Apart from the cracks, streaks of demonic energy were leaking out from the body crazily. No. Impossible. You can actually use the power of heaven and earth. Only a half-step saint can have such strength. No. It's absolutely impossible. The green blood demon sect Lin Rushan looked up to the sky and shouted angrily, but he didn't dare to move at all. Because now, his whole person was in pieces. It was only because of the last trace of obsession that he could hold on and let his huge the bodies are still gathered together in human form. The reason for this last obsession is Qin Changshen's last blow. He actually used the power of the great avenue of heaven and earth. As long as he has an innate physique and practices some mysterious skills, people who practice Dharma can actually borrow the power of the great Dao of heaven and earth. But the difference between borrowing and using is 1,000 miles away. Borrowing is just using one's own skills and combat skills to strengthen the power of the great Dao of heaven and earth. Just a few. Use, that is to truly control this side of the world, and use the power of the great laws of this side of the world to fight against the enemy. Only the legendary saints of heaven and earth are so qualified. Although Qin Changsheng just did not completely using the power of heaven and earth, but it is no small matter, it is a symbol of half-step to becoming a saint. What, the bad guy, is actually a half-step saint? In the Flying Palace, in Amoran's beautiful eyes, various expressions were constantly changing, some were surprised, some were frightened, and there was also a trace of admiration. No wonder, I said, something seems not quite right with him. It turns out that something is wrong here, he has already become a saint. The level of excitement in Lu Ruyan's beautiful eyes at this time is no worse than that of Amoran. Even if Qin Changsheng has advanced to the Yunhai realm king level, the two of them and the master of the blue blood demon sect will not be like this shocked. But the meaning of being a half-step saint is different. According to legend, saints also have qualities, and they are divided into three categories: heaven, earth, and people. Among them, the human saints correspond to the king level of Yunhai realm, the earth saints correspond to the emperor level of Xingzhang realm, and the heavenly saints correspond to the emperor level of Tongtian realm. Half-step saint, in fact, harmony is equivalent to the perfection of the state of unity. However, this is just a hierarchical division. In reality, whether they are saints or half-step saints, they are too scarce. After ancient times, the saints withered. According to legend, because the great avenues of heaven and earth are incomplete, the chance of attaining enlightenment and becoming a saint is even more difficult. In today's era, it is common to practice to the Yunhai realm, but there are almost no people who can achieve enlightenment and become a saint. Even half-step saints seem to exist only in legends, and I haven't heard of them in countless years. But today, when the leader of the Jade Blood Demon sect said this, the two girls suddenly came to their senses. My young master seems to be the legendary half-step saint. No wonder he is so strong. He wiped out the entire Blue Blood Demon sect without even using his bloodline or physique. Half-step saint. Have I become a half-step saint? It seems to be true. I didn't notice it before. Qin Changshen's voice also came from mid-air. Lu Ruyan and Amoran, who were already shocked and speechless, almost breathed back. When I asked you about your realm before, you were vague and said you didn't know clearly. I bet you really don't know. Although the saints and realms are not the same system, but they are all your own. You haven't discovered it all this time. Apart from robbing the saint, you really didn't take anything else seriously, including your own strength. If Qin Changshen knew what they were thinking, he would definitely want to tell them. It's not my master's level of strength, he's just confused. But my master's level of strength has really improved a bit too fast, so fast that I can't even react. His mind was racing, and Qin Changsheng found the records about half-step saints in the Taoist traditions he had obtained. I found that it was really, very consistent with me. In other words, unknowingly, I have truly become a half-step saint. Enlightenment and becoming a saint were a very common thing in ancient times. It is said that some people use martial arts to achieve Taoism, some use swords to achieve Taoism, some use harps to achieve Taoism, and some even use paintings to achieve Taoism, and some use words to achieve Taoism. This system of achieving Taoism and becoming a saint was used in ancient times. Big trend. As long as you study a certain way with concentration, you will have a chance to become a saint. But then, you seem to have gone through a period of inexplicable panic. Such opportunities for enlightenment and sanctification have become very rare. As a result, the current cultivation system came into being. Since one cannot directly attain enlightenment and become a saint, one must use the power of heaven and earth. Then I will use my own bloodline or physique to cultivate into a medium and use the power of heaven and earth to strengthen myself. Of course, it doesn't matter who is strong or weak. After all skills and techniques are just systems. The only people who can truly distinguish between strong and weak are those who use the system. But one thing is certain. This kind of system that resorts to second best and borrows the power of heaven and earth is obviously weaker than the system of a true saint who directly mobilizes the power of heaven and earth. Qin Changsheng was confused because of this. He had always been practicing the latter. Why is it inexplicable? The former system of enlightenment and sainthood has surpassed the latter and directly sent itself to the high platform of a half-step saint. Just like a person who practices swordsmanship. In the eyes of others, he is already a genius who practices swordsmanship, and he himself thinks so. But inexplicably one day, others and himself suddenly discovered it. The swordsmanship that he had not practiced much, was even stronger than the swordsmanship. This feeling, okay. To be honest, it's quite comfortable. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I Robbed Millions of Saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 177. Isn't it said that it is difficult to attain enlightenment and become a saint? Why didn't I study this? I somehow became a half-step saint. The legends are indeed all lies. In mid-air, Qin Changsheng couldn't help but sigh. In the flying palace, the two girls' eyes rolled to the sky. This guy's words really make a person angry to death. Is it difficult to achieve enlightenment and become a saint? How come he is half a saint inexplicably? The legend is a lie. Anyone with a little bit of humanity cannot say such shameless words in front of us. Do you know that we have all been hit by you? Are you standing still? The saying speaking without pain in the back is vividly demonstrated. Poof, you. Bullying goes too far, bullying goes too far. I think of me, Lin Rushan, the majestic leader of the Blue Blood Demon sect, leading the Blue Blood Demon sect through mountains of corpses and seas of blood, becoming stronger step by step, and finally reaching this grand scene. I never thought that today, I would be destroyed in the hands of a shameless boy like you. I cannot be reconciled. I am really unwilling. The leader of the Jade Blood sect was also angry with Qin Chang and couldn't hold back his last breath. You say your bloodline is strong, so be strong. You say your physique is against the heavens, so be it. You said that you were so young but your cultivation was extremely high, so I tolerated it. Finally, I found out that you were a half-step saint. Although I was shocked, I was very willing to die. After all, being a half-step saint is equivalent to the perfection of the unity realm. It is normal to easily crush the seventh heaven of the unity realm. But you still have to say such shameless words, it really makes me unable to rest in peace. A mouthful of old blood spurted out from Lin Rushan's huge mouth and fell down like a waterfall. Holy shit, that's disgusting. Let's fight, not with such disgusting people. When Qin Changsheng saw this, he cursed angrily with a look of disgust on his face, and then waved his hands to place a Genkai barrier, enveloping himself and the flying palace to avoid being affected by the blood waterfall. I hate it so much. When Lin Rushan saw this, he felt even worse. I was so damn angry with you that I vomited out my last mouthful of blood, and you still find me disgusting? You wiped out my Blue Blood Demon section, damn it, you still think I'm disgusting? Who is the victim among us? However, even if he is full of grievances, he has no chance to continue talking at this moment. The tension in his heart, his breath is gone, he is already on the verge of death. Boom, boom. I saw pieces of flesh and blood on Lin Rushan's huge mountain-like body, like layers of rocks peeling off the mountain and rolling down. Then, streaks of crimson blood slowly surged out like lava. I am really unwilling. Lin Rushan, the leader of the Blue Blood Demon sect, let out his last roar, and his whole body was completely shattered into rubble. Only the huge head, like a hill, still remained intact, and it fell among a pile of rubble and flesh. Up, eyes wide open. You said you had nothing to do and let the jade snake eat those mountains. It was so ugly to let myself die in the end. Alas, I have not finished playing this piece of music. In the high mountains and flowing water, it is hard to find a close friend, and the music is high and low, so how can I be an immortal? In mid-air, Qin Changshen's voice sounded very regretful. In the flying palace. When Lu Ruyan and Emo Ran heard this, they looked at me and I looked at you. Their beautiful eyes were full of helplessness and speechlessness. This guy is drifting further and further away on the road of angering people to death without repaying his life. It was also thanks to the Jade Blood Sect Master that he was already dead. Otherwise, after hearing these few words from him, I'm afraid I'd be immediately pissed to death. Wow, brother is great. I killed another bad guy and stole a lot of delicious food, hee hee. Boom, boom, boom. Xiaomi Li's cheering voice came, still eating the best spiritual stone in her mouth. This little loli has not been affected by Qin Changsheng from beginning to end. She just cheers for Qin Changsheng while eating. Oops, I forgot to arrange the millet grains again. Hearing Xiaomi Li's cheers, Qin Changsheng thought a little depressed. In fact, at the beginning, he was not prepared to let Xiaomi Li join the Blue Blood Demon sect step by step to see if he could become a saint. After all, there is a mixed bag here. There was rubbish all over the place, and the techniques practiced by all the disciples were extremely evil and disgusting. He did not want Xiaomi Li to come into contact with the rubbish. According to Qin Changshen's plan, the Blue Blood Demon sect was almost suppressed first, and then they forced the leader of the Blue Blood Demon sect to see if he could successfully cheat. Who would have thought that there would be many changes in the process? One moment, the Demon God Tower appeared, and the other moment, the leader of the Blue Blood Demon sect swallowed up those elders. Qin Changshen didn't even have a chance to launch his cheating plan, and the battle was over. But thinking about it carefully, even if Qin Changsheng stopped halfway and forced himself to think about the Jade Blood Sect Master, I'm afraid it would be difficult for him to succeed. This little green man, it's still very difficult. It's done. Well, then we can only wait for the next one. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Master, the Demon God Tower has been successfully repaired. The repair progress is now 20%. The system prompt information comes out. Qin Changshen waved his hand and retracted the Demon God Tower from mid-air. At this time, the Demon God Tower was completely different from the previous one. Before, it was so dark that it looked like an old pottery piece picked up from a junk pile. Now, although it is still dark, there is a faint golden substance looming. Young Master, what level of magic weapon is this? Mr. Young Master, you can actually absorb the energy of Taixu? It's definitely not an ordinary product. Lu Ruyan and Emo Ran came over and asked. I don't know either. I snatched it from the hands of an elder from Qingyun Holy Land. It is said that this thing is very evil, and ordinary people cannot sense anything extraordinary. It can only be used as a sacrifice of flesh and blood to be vaguely useful. Qin Changsheng said truthfully. Of course, he had no idea of using flesh and blood as a sacrifice. Because according to the previous experience of the Crazy Knife Peak Master, even if he sacrificed flesh and blood, the benefits he gained were only a little bit. Qin Changsheng simply didn't disdainful. Qingyun Holy Land? How can there be such a thing in the Gilded Realm? Lu Ruyan naturally knows about Qingyun Holy Land, and is very puzzled that treasures of this level can appear there. According to legend, the entire continent was actually one in the ancient times. It was only later that there was a shocking war that bombarded the entire continent into what it is now. The eastern region was also separated from the mainland, so it is not unusual to have treasures of this level. And if a treasure can swallow the chi of Taixu, its grade must be at least above that of a king-level treasure. Flesh and blood sacrifice is definitely not the real way to open it. Judging from the items, it should be incomplete. Once the repair is completed, we should be able to find a way to activate it. Amoran explained from the side. Oops, our Amoran knows a lot. Qin Changsheng couldn't help but admire Amoran's words. However, his praise sounded more like teasing to Amoran. Bah, who is from your family? I'm just telling you with good intentions. Sister Ruyan is from your family. The super invincible long-legged ink-stained man spat with a reddish face. Sister Amoran, if you scold him, why are you taking me with you? If I were from their family, you would be the same. Lu. Ruyan said with an innocent look on the side. It's different, he and I, have nothing. Amoran retorted. Yeah? It's nothing now, but that doesn't mean it won't be anything in the future. Although I was drunk yesterday, I still remember clearly, and I don't know who it was, hugging this guy without letting go, with both long legs wrapped around him. Ah, you actually remember. Haha. The two girls actually started teasing each other. And this time. Ah, sisters, what are you talking about? Why are your faces red again? You, don't do this. I get scared when I see you blushing. You are not going to send millet grains to Linglong Immortal Mansion again. Xiaomi Lier also spoke at the side. What she said immediately had a critical impact on the two girls. They no longer dared to mess around. Next, it's time to collect the loot. The huge blue blood demon sect has thousands of peaks and tens of thousands of palaces. Qin Changsheng alone, even if all the saints are summoned, is definitely not enough. It was only at this time that Qin Changsheng felt very emotional. The army of saints that I snatched is still a bit small. Otherwise, it would be much easier to pack up the loot. Of course, Qin Changsheng was also prepared. The reason why he directly destroyed the entire Jade Blood Demon sect was because he sensed that there were many magic caves used by the Jade Blood Demon sect to practice among these mountains. There are many prisoners of various kinds of monks, men and women, old and young, who were imprisoned inside and were captured by the Blue Blood Demon sect to make sacrifices, make cauldrons, and even practice human elixirs. Qin Changsheng waved his hand and opened the seals of the demon cave and purgatory. After a group of people came out, they were shocked at first. In the demon cave, they had seen various cultivation methods of the blue blood demon section. They were extremely terrifying and miserable. But I didn't expect there would be something more shocking than those today. The entire Jade Blood Demon section. All died, with corpses piled into mountains and blood flowing into rivers. Even Lin Rushan, the leader of the Blue Blood Demon sect, died miserably there. A head as huge as a mountain was piled on the pieces of rubble and flesh, with wide eyes, still looking up to the sky and roaring unwillingly. Then, a group of people looked into the air again. In this mountain of corpses and sea of blood, there were only a few living people. A young man in white clothes was playing the piano in mid-air. The two styles are very different, but both are beautiful fairies who captivate the country and the city, just like banishing immortals to the earth. There is also a little girl holding the best spiritual stone and eating something crispy. Many thanks, Your Majesty, for coming to the rescue, killing the many demons of the Blue Blood Demon sect, and eliminating harm for the people. Thank you, Your Majesty. We are willing to die to repay the kindness of saving our lives. Hurrah la la. Tens of thousands of rescued prisoners fell to their knees one by one. In fact, in the prison of the demon cave, they also heard the movements and dialogue outside. But they could only hear it. All they knew was that there was a young man named Qin Changsheng who seemed to be causing trouble in the entire Blue Blood Demon sect, and he seemed to be extremely fierce. But who would have thought, this man could be so ferocious that he could wipe out the entire Blue Blood Demon sect? But, this man looked so young and indifferent. He wiped out hundreds of thousands of people with a wave of his hand, as if he was joking and didn't take it seriously at all. There's no need for a reward, just go and help me collect the loot. Qin Changsheng said with a wave of his hand. Naturally, these people had no objections, and then a group of people started to dig 3 feet into the blue blood demon sect, and brought out all the usable and unusable things for Qin Changsheng. Not long after, piles of heavenly and earthly treasures, elixirs, spiritual stones, martial arts and combat skills, as well as various spiritual weapons and mysterious weapons were piled up in an open space. The other saints were all in retreat. Qin Changsheng he didn't bother them, and let Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran sort them out, then threw them all into Linglong Immortal Mansion, waiting for them to come out of seclusion and choose on their own. Then, a group of people stepped onto the flying palace and disappeared into the sky. Leaving behind a group of prisoners who were rescued from the demon's cave, looking at the Jade Blood Demon sect in a mess all around, it still felt like a dream. The huge Jade Blood Demon section was actually destroyed by that young man named Qin Changsheng. If this matter spreads, I'm afraid it will shock Dong Huang. What these people didn't expect was that, when they left the Blue Blood Demon sect and were about to tell the story, the others were indeed shocked. They were also shocked. It turned out that the boy had destroyed not only the Jade Blood Demon section, but also the Hunshan Demon sect, the Xianming Holy Land, and hundreds of sects in the Chaos Mountains. The name Qin Changsheng will be mentioned as a legend of the Eastern Wasteland for a long time to come. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 178. Above the Flying Palace. Qin Changsheng was sitting in the middle, drinking spiritual tea comfortably, while 2 stunning beauties, Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran, were sitting on both sides. One is holding a teapot, ready to add tea to Qin Changsheng at any time, while the other is carefully peeling the suingzin fruit for Qin Changsheng. And millet grains. Boom, boom. Sitting next to Qin Changsheng, he was still eating the best spiritual stones. This time in the Blue Blood Demon sect, I gained a lot. Not only did I have hundreds of thousands of top-quality spiritual stones, but there were also various things that enhanced my bloodline and physique, etc. This little loli was extremely happy. Qin Changsheng was also very happy. Although now, this little loli has not yet received her experience pack. But no matter how she upgrades or to what extent she upgrades, she will be able to give back tenfold in the future, so it doesn't matter if she eats it early or late. At this time, little loli has reached the 5th level of the Qi realm. Qin Changsheng estimated that when he succeeds in cheating, this little loli will probably become a big experience bag in the Unity realm. At that time, the tenfold feedback should be a considerable improvement. Young master, how on earth did you step into the realm of a half-step saint? After peeling off a mysterious soul fruit, Lu Ruyan put his slender jade finger into Qin Changsheng's mouth and asked weakly. I really don't know. I stepped in out of nowhere. Qin Changsheng spread his hands and said helplessly. Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran were so speechless. How could they step in inexplicably? Then do you prove the Tao with the harp or the sword? Amo Ran stood aside and asked. According to ancient records, all saints must have a profound knowledge of a certain way, so that they can have a glimpse of the mystery of this great way of heaven and earth. But just now Qin Changsheng, while playing the piano, he was performing the art of swordsmanship. The power of heaven and earth used was hard to distinguish. This made the 2 girls confused. Is this guy a person who has high attainments in the music of the piano or a person who has high attainments in swordsmanship? Oh. Although these 2, they have never seen this guy practice seriously. But there must be an explanation. If I say, both of these, I seem to have had a glimpse of the mystery and stepped half a step into the realm of a saint. Do you believe it? Qin Changsheng took a sip of tea and said casually. Ah. You, you have comprehended the power of two great avenues. Even in the ancient times, when opportunities for saints were very common, there were very few saints who had dual certifications. When the two girls heard this, their beautiful eyes opened to the maximum, with a look of surprise on their faces. If others said this, the two of them would definitely be skeptical. But in the past 2 days, they have witnessed Qin Changshen's monsters, after rising up against the heavens. They have really become accustomed to Qin Changshen's various monster actions. Moreover, they also saw the battle between Qin Changshen and the master of the Blue Blood Demon sect with their own eyes. This guy really seems to yes, it looked like they were using the power of two great avenues. This made them even more speechless. In this era, saints are dying, and the opportunities for becoming a saint are almost non-existent. It can be said that it is difficult for others to achieve enlightenment and become a saint. This guy actually came up with a double certificate. Monster! Why don't you let others live? Bad guy, you, where did you come from? The two girls were full of envy, jealousy, and hatred, rolling their eyes at Qin Changshen. Especially the proud little Princess Mo Ran, who had a pair of super long legs that were invincible and stomped her feet on the ground, which made Fang feel the most tortured. Proud like her, she has always been the strongest being of the younger generation. She never thought that one day, she would meet such a monster. And be forcibly occupied by this monster. But even after being occupied, the pride in her bones has always been she was still trying to convince her that one day she would be able to surpass this bad guy and escape from his clutches. But the more she got to know Qin Changshen, the more she discovered that this monster was becoming more and more abnormal. She seemed to be far away from that escape. The days of Devil's Claw are getting further and further away. Faced with the anger of two beautiful beauties, Qin Changshen naturally did not take it seriously. They are all my little maids. It doesn't matter if they act coquettishly on small things, as long as they don't cause big trouble. As for Qin Changshen himself, he actually had a lot of speculations about being able to double realize the Great Dao. As a time traveler, he actually has two things more than the people in this world. The first one is the saint plundering system. With this system, Qin Changshen has grown rapidly from mediocre qualifications to what he is now. The second one, is that Qin Changshen's two-life soul is different from ordinary people, which makes his soul see extremely vast and extremely tough. Qin Changshen guessed that his ability to double certify the Great Dao had something to do with his physique and talent. But the most relevant thing may be because of his own soul see. In other words, even without this system, Qin Changshen might suddenly have a glimpse of the avenue one day. From a little monk in the realm of flesh and blood, he became a half-step saint in one fell swoop, and then step by step he became a human saint, an earthly saint, and even a heavenly saint. And with this system, it allowed Qin Changshen to go smoothly on these two systems and move forward indomitably, thus leading to the current situation. Buzz. Just when Qin Changshen calmly faced the angry looks of Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran, Linglong Immortal Mansion suddenly flashed with spiritual light. Then, concubine Murong, dressed in fiery red, flew out from inside and hugged Qin Changshen's neck from behind. He, dear master, have you missed me? These two sisters are your newly snatched saints, right? What a pity, what a pity. I missed out on practicing in seclusion. However, I have successfully integrated the Shura Taoism, and my cultivation has advanced rapidly. While talking, concubine Murong did not forget to look at Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran. Tisk tisk, the saint of the eastern wilderness continent is indeed very extraordinary. This sister is so tall. This figure, tisk tisk, invincible. And this sister wearing a pink skirt, I have seen you in there, Saint Lu Ruyan of Hunshan, right? But why are you getting younger and younger? Could it be that, I want to call you sister? The quirky little witch, after following Qin Changshen, especially likes to tease other saints, especially the newly snatched ones. Even after coming out this time, the little witch always teases her as soon as she opens her mouth. But Qin Changsheng and Lu Ruyan and the two of them, listening to concubine Murong's teasing, were so big-headed. Especially Qin Changsheng, he almost burst out laughing. "It's just you teasing Lu Ruyan. You actually said, do you want to call her sister? I can only say that the timing of your retreat was too coincidental. You only saw the first half of the scene between Lu Ruyan and me, but not the second half of her story about her origins. That, concubine. Let me introduce to you, her name is Lu Ruyan, from the Gilded Domain, the Red Demon Sect." Qin Changsheng suppressed his smile and introduced. "Stop bluffing me, I think I saw you being robbed by Sister Ruyan, and you were still calling me a lady, okay. Return to the Gilded Domain, Red Demon Sect." "Wait a minute, Qilian Mo Sect. Lu Ruyan. My master's master seems to be named Lu Ruyan, could it be? Concubine Murong was dumbfounded for a moment, her playful expression just now froze on her face. When she heard Lu Ruyan's name before, she did have a familiar feeling. But Lu Ruyan and she were separated by Muruoxi after all. Not only had they never met, they also rarely heard from each other. She had only seen this name occasionally in the main hall of the Red Lian Demon Sect, so she didn't have much of an impression, and she didn't think of it at the time. Now, I heard Qin Changsheng's introduction. Concubine Murong's heart suddenly trembled, an incredible guess flashed through her mind, and she stammered. "That's right, she is your master's master, that is, your ancestor, Lu Ruyan." Qin Changsheng finally couldn't help it and said with a chuckle. Lu Ruyan was standing aside, with a red face, looking at Murong concubine. "I don't know what to say. My disciple and grandson were robbed by this bad guy. I was also robbed by this bad guy. What the hell is this? Sister Ruyan, no. Master, are you really my master?" Murong concubine looked blank and confirmed in a daze. Ruoxi is indeed my disciple." Lu Ruyan's expression at this time is also very wonderful. She was called a sister by her disciple, and she almost called her a sister. There is no one else. Bad boy, bad boy. You even robbed my master. Are you mad at me?" Murong Fei angrily hit Qin Changsheng on the shoulder with her pink fist several times. "I didn't know it at the time, she was your master. By the time I knew it, it was already too late." Qin Changsheng said with a helpless look. Of course, Qin Changsheng was just talking. Even if he really knew, would he miss such a big experience package? Besides, in this world, cultivating to the Qi realm after that, it was a complete transformation. Lu Ruyan also had the innate spirit resurrecting body that got younger the more he practiced. It would be a waste if he didn't grab it. Concubine, right? In fact, you don't have to be so cautious. Although I am your master in name, isn't it that the Scarlet Demon Sect has already passed away? I came to the Eastern Barren Continent and joined the Hunshan Demon Section. It was actually a new life. Besides, I'm not used to people calling me master. It makes me look too old. You can just continue to call me sister." Lu Ruyan said. Ever since she knew that she had a disciple named Murong Fei, who was also one of the saints that Qin Changsheng snatched, she had already thought about various meeting scenarios. She also thought deeply about this set of words. To avoid the embarrassment of two people coming into contact with each other in the future. After all, they are tied to this guy. He bows his head but does not look up, and he cannot avoid it even if he wants to. Then, how can that be done? Concubine Murong still can't accept it. She knows that Qin Changsheng is going to find his master. In other words, the three of them, master and apprentice, will meet together one day. At that time, her master will call her master, but he called her sister? This This is too nonsense. After a long while, Lu Ruyan and Murongfei finally calmed down and accepted this somewhat absurd fact. There's nothing you can do if you don't accept it. Both of them are now Qin Changshen's little maid. In terms of status, they are really equal. If they were arranged on a first-come, first-served basis. Lu Ruyan really wanted to call concubine Murong her sister. After having to face it calmly, Murongfei began to understand what happened during the 2 days of her seclusion. This understanding, concubine Murong started yelling again. What? Young master actually just crushed a sect leader from the 7th level of the Unity realm. He has become a half-step saint, and he is also a double certified Taoist. Innate sword domain hegemony. The bloodline of the mythical beast Qinglong. Oh my god, this monster. How come advancing is like eating and drinking, faster than millet grains eating spiritual stones? And how come his physique and bloodline have become stronger again? With concubine Murong making such a fuss, the scene was no longer as embarrassing as before. But, when they learned that not long ago, Qin Changshen had the innate sword heart body and holy unicorn blood, Lu Ruyan and Mo ran, they were also shocked and stunned. But this was not the end. Murong concubine told them again, how in the beginning, Qin Changshen came from Qingyun Holy Land, a Qinfan disciple with no physique and bloodline. Step by step, they have reached where they are now. Lu Ruyan and Mo ran began to completely doubt life. I thought that this evildoer had a very high starting point, so he could leap step by step and reach the world where he is today. I never thought, the starting point of this monster is from scratch. This is even more terrifying. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 179. Ding ding dong dong. The flying palace shuttled among the white clouds. Qin Changshen had nothing to do. He sat in front of the railing outside the flying palace and started playing the piano to pass the time. If it were before, Lu Ruyan and Mo ran would definitely say that Qin Changshen was too idle and never practiced. He just played the piano and drank tea all day long, and then robbed the sect's holy land and robbed the saint. But now, I know that Qin Changshen has achieved double enlightenment and has become a half-step saint in the way of the piano and the way of the sword. There was no reason for them to say these things anymore. And I deeply felt that I might have misunderstood Qin Changshen before. He seems to be playing the piano casually, but he may be comprehending the greatness of the piano. But how did they know? Qin Changshen really didn't think that much, he just liked playing the piano habitually. Because when playing the piano, it makes him very quiet. Of course, you may have realized it without even realizing it. While playing the piano, Qin Changshen looked at his attribute panel. Holy Master, Qin Changshen. Age, 19. Physique, innate sword domain dominant body. Bloodline, the bloodline of the five-clawed golden dragon of the holy beast, rich. The realm of Taoism, the Tao of Qin, a half-step saint. The way of the sword, a half-step saint. Cultivation realm, unity realm, 9 heavens. Combat skill, the 3rd grade Xian level combat skill dragon's immortal body technique, perfection. The 5th grade Xian level combat skill sword lord of the sky, perfection. 6th level Xian level combat skill dragon's roar asking the sky, perfection. Although the cheating failed, I didn't get the saint. But with the hard work of concubine Murong and a group of saints, Qin Changshen's cultivation level actually improved by another level, reaching the 9th level of unity. Of course, this is not Qin Changshen's concern. What Qin Changshen noticed was, that there was an additional attribute on his attribute panel, the realm of Taoism. The way of the piano, a half-step saint. The way of the sword, a half-step saint. Sure enough, this is also among the attributes. Qin Changshen didn't even notice when it appeared. In addition, the original realm attributes have directly changed into cultivation realm attributes. In other words, the attainment of enlightenment and sanctification in ancient times was based on the system of Taoism and the emphasis was on enlightenment. It is possible that many people have never practiced cultivation in their entire lives, but once they become enlightened, they can achieve half-step sainthood, or even directly become human saints, mastering the power of the great avenues of heaven and earth. The current method of cultivation is the cultivation system, which focuses on absorbing spiritual energy to strengthen oneself. Then use yourself as a medium to borrow the power of the great avenue of heaven and earth. Qin Changshen is an anomaly. His own cultivation is also strong enough. It can also directly mobilize the power of the great avenue of heaven and earth. The jade bead curtain of the flying palace behind him made a sound, interrupting Qin Changshen's thoughts. Concubine Murong was wearing a red dress and walked out of the flying palace with light steps. "You bastard, I'm going to go into seclusion." Coming behind Qin Changshen, Concubine Murong said cheerfully. "Well, go for it. Now that you have received the inheritance of Taoism, make good use of it." Qin Changshen said. He knew what Concubine Murong was thinking. Since she came to the Eastern Barren Continent, she had seen the realm of monks in the Eastern Barren Continent, which made her even more stressed. Otherwise, with this girl's quirky character, she would definitely not be willing to part with it. Miss it, every robbery is a good show. Okay, I know. But before retreating, I have one more question to ask you. While speaking, Concubine Murong's red lips came close to Qin Changshen's ear, and she exhaled like a blue. You and my master, won't live like that with my master, let's live like that." Hearing Concubine Murong's question, Qin Changshen himself blushed a little. That's why I just said, by the time I knew it, it was already too late. Qin Changshen didn't hide anything, he told it truthfully. You're so bad. Let my master know, I'm afraid there will be another chaos." Although Concubine Murong had already expected this possibility, she still felt confused when she heard Qin Changshen's confirmation. When Qin Changshen was about to say something, Concubine Murong opened her red lips and said directly he bit Qin Changshen's ear and whispered again. You didn't even let my master go, why, but, you didn't treat me like that. You stinky boy." After saying this, Concubine Murong dodged and returned to Linglong Immortal Mansion. Because she was afraid that if she came back even a second late, Qin Changshen would see her face turned red. In the flying palace, when Qin Changshen heard what Concubine Murong said, he was stunned. "Did I not want to? It was I who promised your master." Concubine Murong just left. Lu Ruyan, who was in the flying palace, also stepped in. "Bad guy, I suddenly thought of a question. The life-saving combat skill Ruoxi practiced must be 3,000 love threads. When you robbed the Qilian demon section, did she ever think of using this combat skill?" Lu Ruyan asked with a solemn expression. "Yes, this combat skill is quite powerful." Qin Changshen nodded, a little confused. Do these two ancestors and disciples miss me Ruoxi so much today? Ruoxi, did she really use it on you? Bad guy, you really killed me. How can I see Ruoxi in the future? After hearing Qin Changshen's answer, Lu Ruyan was even more excited than Concubine Murong just now and almost jumped up. No. Is there anything wrong with 3,000 loves? Qin Changshen said doubtfully. Nonsense, the problem here is huge. Then, Lu Ruyan told Qin Changshen about the causal backlash that would occur after using this combat technique. After Qin Changshen heard this, he was stunned on the spot. No wonder Mi Ruoxi's attitude towards me changed drastically later on. No wonder before leaving, she would. Hearing what Qin Changshen said, Lu Ruyan's complexion changed again. What before leaving? You won't. Qin Changshen's face turned red again, and then he nodded honestly. At this time, Lu Ruyan slapped her forehead and sneaked into Linglong Immortal Mansion. She is ready to be quiet. Brother, did Sister Ruyan go to the Immortal Mansion? Oops, then I'll go inside and play for a while. I want to eat something else. The little loli jumped out and saw Lu Ruyan entering the fairy palace, and then followed her in. Now, Qin Changsheng and Amo Ran were the only two people left in the entire flying palace. I'll go inside too. This proud princess is quite afraid of Qin Changsheng and wants to run away. No. Make a pot of tea. Qin Changsheng refused directly. Okay. Amo Ran looked aggrieved, but he didn't dare to disobey Qin Changsheng's wishes, so he could only go and make some spiritual tea. Time passed by. After a few hours, the flying palace had flown tens of thousands of miles away. Qin Changsheng was still playing the piano. Amo Ran, the proud long-legged princess, was pathetically squeezing Qin Changsheng's shoulders with her delicate jade fingers. In her heart, that was called a grievance. When have you ever served others? Let alone a man. But now, he has to succumb to this guy's lustful power. Have you really thought about going to Yuntian Holy Land? There are king-level experts in the Yunhai realm there, and there are several holy places coexisting around it. Amo Ran glanced at the flying direction of the flying palace and couldn't help but ask. Of course, the more sects there are in the Holy Land, the more I like them. Otherwise, where can I go to snatch the saint? Qin Changsheng said casually. Amo Ran's beautiful eyes couldn't help but flash a look of disdain. Saint. This bad guy, all he thinks about is saint. But in order to snatch the saint, I don't want to think about what you are going to face. A king of the Yunhai realm. An existence comparable to a humane saint. Even if you are a half-step saint on the dual certification path, there is still a huge gap between you and a true humane saint. Okay. You won't tell us when the time comes that your cultivation level has gone from the 7th or 8th level of the Unity realm to the Yunhai realm. This time, the flying palace took 2 full days. During this period, Qin Changsheng and Lu Ruyan often sneaked into Linglong Immortal Mansion for an hour or two when nothing happened. This puzzled the little Lolita. Why not put yourself in Linglong Immortal Mansion this time? But my brother and sister Ruyan often go to Linglong Immortal Mansion. And every time, after leaving for an hour or two, Sister Ruyan would always blush when she came back with her brother. What makes Xiaomi Lier even more puzzled is when she raised this doubt to Sister Amo Ran. Sister Amo Ran also blushed. He also said that his brother was a bad guy and liked to take Sister Ruyan around Linglong Immortal Mansion. But wandering around, why is Sister Ruyan blushing? 2 days later, Qin Changsheng came out of Linglong Immortal Mansion again with Lu Ruyan, who had a blushing face. Then I found Amo Ran and Xiao Loli, holding their small hands, looking forward. From the back, their long and invincible legs were even more attractive. Qin Changsheng walked over, looked in front of the flying palace, and understood instantly. I saw that in front of the flying palace, mountains appeared one after another, as big as the natural chasm. In the eastern barren continent, there are countless mountains, rivers, which are not uncommon. But tall mountains are quite rare. What's more, this kind of place, as far as the eye can see, there are mountains towering into the sky. This should be the legendary Fenchen Ridge of the eastern wilds. Lu Ruyan also saw the tens of thousands of mountains, her red lips slightly opened and said. The eastern wilderness divides the sky ridge. It is a wonderful scene in the eastern wilderness. It spans millions of miles from north to south, and consists of mountains one by one. It is composed of high mountains. According to legend, this is an ancient great power who used the Taoist method to move the mountains one by one, and then line them up in a row, dividing the entire eastern wilderness continent from north to south. This legend is absurd. After all, there are so many mountains. How many tens of thousands of mountains are needed to cover a distance of 1,000,000 miles? What kind of power can have such a way, and what is it doing with these things? But after truly understanding it, I discovered that this absurd legend may be fact. Otherwise, these neat rows of tall mountains are so neat that they don't look like they were born this way. Nowadays, the dividing ridge of the East Wasteland is also an iconic area of the East Wasteland. Qin Changsheng and the others this side, in the Eastern Barren, is called the land outside the wilderness. Only by crossing the East Barren dividing sky ridge can one truly set foot on the Eastern Barren continent. And in the Eastern Barren dividing sky not far from the ridge is the Yuntian Holy Land. This deserted land, including the Eastern Wastelands, is the sphere of influence of the Yuntian Holy Land. Ruyan, bring over the map. We should study where to start the robbery. Qin Changsheng waved. Hearing this, Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran were speechless again. This guy really came here specifically to rob. But do they dare to say anything? Especially Lu Ruyan. These two Qin Changsheng was so frightened that he was so tormented by Qin Changsheng. He was so obedient in front of him. For fear that he would be unhappy, he would drag himself into the Linglong immortal mansion and educate him. Soon, an ancient animal skin scroll appeared. Placed in front of Qin Changsheng. Past the Fenchen Ridge in the East Barren, there are 3 sect holy lands, all close to the Fenchen Ridge in the East Barren. The largest of them is naturally the Yuntian Holy Land. The other 2 are the Suandan Holy Land. Thousand Arrays Demon Sect. Although the Suandan Holy Land and the Thousand Arrays Demon Sect do not have king-level monks in the Yunhai realm, their influence and combat effectiveness are no weaker than those of the Yuntian Holy Land. Especially the Suandan Holy Land, which can refine 9 for pink Suandan, there are long queues of people seeking elixirs in front of the mountain gate every day. It is even said that many powerful men of the Yunhai realm king level will come here to seek elixirs for their descendants. This is all a favor. As for the Qianzhen demon sect, they are proficient in various formations. It is said that its sect leader is only a perfect cultivation base in the Union realm, but by borrowing the benefits of various formations, his combat power is comparable to that of a king in the Yunhai realm. Time. Of course, Qin Changsheng doesn't care about these. What he cares about more, is of course the saint. According to Qin Changsheng's understanding, these 3 sect holy places all have saints. That is to say, there are 3 saintess experience packs, already waving to him. But, apart from these 3 saintesses, Qin Changsheng has not forgotten Xiaomi Li'er, this heaven-defying experience pack. He has made up his mind. This once, through these 3 sect holy places, I must succeed in cheating and eat this heaven-defying experience package. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 180. Eastern Barren Fenchen Ridge. In a relatively low area between the tens of thousands of mountains, Qin Changsheng walked forward with the 2 girls in his arms. In addition to looking extremely spectacular, this Fenchen Ridge also has a magical place, that is, it is impossible to leap below the Yunhai realm king level. Otherwise, the pulling force of these mountains will make you bump around like a headless fly. In addition, among these tens of thousands of mountains, monsters and beasts are rampant, and there are many heavenly materials and earthly treasures. However, many disciples of the sect's Holy Land hunt for beasts and treasures. Of course, hunting animals and treasures is limited to this passage area. Those particularly deep places are said to be extremely dangerous, and even the kings of the Yunhai realm dare not set foot there easily. Help! Suddenly a woman's cry for help came from a distance. "You guys follow me, I'll go see what's going on first." Qin Changshen handed the little Lolita to Lu Ruyan and said to the two girls. He was thinking about finding someone to ask about the situation of the three sects' holy places first. Since someone is calling for help, it is a good choice. Too naturally, the woman had no objection and nodded slightly. Qin Changshen unfolded his body and turned into a shadow, quickly disappearing. Not long after, Qin Changshen arrived at the place where the cry for help came from. This is a concave-shaped valley. I saw a woman wearing a pink skirt, who was being forced back step by an armored spirit beast. Seeing that there was a cliff behind her, there was no way to retreat. Iron armored spirit beast, a 6-star spiritual beast, equivalent to a 6th level monk in the Qi realm. "Sir, save me." Seeing Qin Changshen's appearance, the woman in the pink skirt seemed to have grasped the last straw. Her big eyes were still stained with tears, and she prayed with hope. Qin Changshen nodded, took a few steps and came to the front of the armored rhinoceros beast. It was discovered that the armor of this armored rhinoceros beast had been damaged in many places by the bombardment. It was already injured. Taking out a sword at random, Qin Changshen struck it into the rotten armor. Plop! The heart was pierced, and the huge body of the armored rhinoceros beast fell to the ground. "Oops, scared me to death." The woman who had just been in pear blossoms with rain, saw the armored rhinoceros beast lying on the ground, her pitiful look disappeared, and she ran to Qin Changshen with excitement on her face. "I am Lu Xiaoqian, an outer disciple of Qianzhen demon sect. I had just set up a 5-star spiritual formation to wait and see, but what I didn't expect was a 6-star spiritual beast. I was scared to death. Thank you for your help, sir, so I can take down this stinky thing." The woman named Lu Xiaoqian said. Although the words were a thank you, if you chew carefully you will find that there is something in this woman's words. The first point is that it was originally a life-saving grace. In her words, it became a helping hand. The second point is that Qin Changshen obviously killed the armored rhinoceros beast, but in her mouth, it turned into asking her to take down this stinky thing. The meaning is obvious: you help me, I thank you. But this trophy is still mine. These words made Qin Changshen laugh secretly in his heart. The human heart is indeed the most complicated thing. Of course, Qin Changshen looked down upon these things. What he was more concerned about was the identity of Lu Xiaoqian, an inner disciple of the Thousand Arrays demon sect. Isn't this exactly the person I want to rob? It's time to ask her about the situation first. "Xiaoqian, is this the distress signal you sent out?" Just when Qin Changshen was about to speak and ask about the situation, another voice sounded. Then, a dozen figures came out, the leader of whom looked to be in his 20s, wearing a golden jade robe, holding an cocky spiritual weapon long knife. "Senior Brother Joe, it's me. I accidentally attracted a 6-star spirit beast, but it has been solved now, hee hee." Seeing the person coming, Nai Xiaoqian's expression became more relaxed, and she smiled happily. Then, the group of people looked at Qin Changshen. But after just one glance, they were attracted by the sword on the armored rhinoceros behind Qin Changshen. Past. 9-star spiritual weapon long sword. "Junior sister Xiaoqian, you caught a big fish this time." When they saw the sword, those disciples of the Thousand Formations demon sect flashed an undetectable evil smile on their faces. "How did I become a big fish?" Qin Changshen shook his head and smiled bitterly. The sudden turn of events caught him off guard. "That's right, kid, you're a big fish. My senior brother Joe is a strong man in the 9th level of the Qi realm, and all he uses is an 8-star spiritual weapon long sword. Do you think you are worthy of that 9-star spiritual weapon sword?" Two disciples of the Thousand Formation demon sect said with a ferocious smile. The others had slowly dispersed, preparing to block the direction in which Qin Changshen left. Tisk tisk, it's really sad that a person from the 9th level of the Qi realm only uses an 8-star spiritual weapon. I have a better one here, do you want it? Qin Changshen said, taking out the Tongxian sword. Xian Bing. Seeing the dense Dao patterns on the Tongxian sword, a group of people's eyes were straightened. But the next moment, the Tongxian sword turned into a stream of light and disappeared into Qin Changshen's hand, and then came back quickly. You are actually a strong person in the Unity realm. How is it possible that you are so young? Several thousand Formation Demon Sect disciples around, including Senior Brother Zhou, were all covering their necks, with expressions of horror and disbelief. They had just seen Qin Changshen's age, and they all thought that this guy was at best in the middle stage of Qi realm. It doesn't matter even if they are in the later stages of the Qi realm. After all, there are so many of them, and what their thousand array demon sect is best at is array formation. But they never expected. Qin Changshen was already in the unity state at such a young age. When they saw the Tongxian sword, they felt something was wrong, but it was already too late. Shishi. Blood began to pour out from between the fingers of several people who were covering their necks. Then one by one, the group of people fell down. In the end, apart from Qin Changshen, the only one left standing on the field was Lu Xiaoqian. You. Young master, they are motivated by wealth. I have no intention of doing anything, really. Young master, you saved me, how could I be ungrateful and repay kindness with hatred? Lu Xiaoqian collapsed directly to the ground and stammered, her face turned into a pitiful and delicate look. Do you think I'm a fool? Qin Changshen chuckled and stretched out his hand. No, sir. Just let me go, I'll promise you anything. I can accompany you. Lu Xiaoqian begged for mercy with a miserable look on her face, but it didn't help. Qin Changshen pressed his spiritual energy palm print on her head and began to extract the soul sea memory. Half an hour later, Qin Changshen and his party walked out of the Fenshan Ridge of the East Wasteland. The spiritual energy here is so abundant. No wonder they said that it was a deserted land. Only when you pass through the Eastern Wilderness Dividing Ridge can you truly step into the Eastern Wilderness continent. Feeling that the aura around her body was much richer than on the other side, Lu Ruyan couldn't help but sigh. The super invincible long-legged beauty Emoran looked a little dazed and didn't say anything. Brother, does Xiaomi Li really want to go on her own and join the Suandan Holy Land? Xiaomi Li asked weakly. The next step is up to you. My brother will be watching you in the fairy mansion. Qin Changshen said with a chuckle, then he summoned the bloody red Luan and handed the spirit beast bag to Xiaomi Li. Oh fine. Although the little loli was a little scared, she still nodded obediently. Well, remember, never rob. Just join. Qin Changshen couldn't help but give another warning. The last time he was in Xianming Holy Land, he could still remember the scene where this little loli suddenly robbed someone. This time, I was afraid that if the little loli tried to rob me again, I would fall short again. After doing all this, Qin Changshen and Lu Ruyan Emoran flew into the Linglong Immortal Mansion. Just from Lu Xiaoqian's memory, Qin Changshen had already roughly understood the situation of Yuntian Holy Land, Suandan Holy Land, and the Thousand Array Demon Sect. Qin Changshen was quite satisfied with the information about the saint that he was most concerned about. Now there are saints in these three sect holy places. In other words, the three super experience packs are already stable. However, Qin Changshen was not satisfied with this. He was also sure of Xiaomi Li's cheating plan. Implemented together. According to Qin Changshen's understanding, this sect's holy land in the eastern wilderness continent is different from the wilderness land and the gilded realm, there is no specific date for opening the gate to greet disciples. Their test formation has always been there. As long as you pass the test, someone will take you in to meet the elders, and if nothing goes wrong, you can become a disciple of the sect. Of course, the tests in these three sects' holy lands are extremely strict. Generally, after passing the test, they are only outer disciples. If you want to become an inner disciple, or even a true disciple, you need to be extremely qualified. However, Qin Changshen was extremely confident in Xiaomi Li'er's qualifications. So, Qin Changshen is going to let Xiaomi Li'er find a sect holy land to try first. And Xiaomi Li'er chose Suandan Holy Land. Because this little loli, after hearing the names of these three sect holy places, became very interested in this holy place full of elixirs. As for Qin Changshen, he planned not to show up yet. After the little loli entered the Suandan Holy Land, he secretly came out and directly robbed the saint of the Suandan Holy Land to try to see if he could turn the little loli into a new saint. Yuntian Holy Land, Suandan Holy Land, and Thousand Arrays Demon Section. The three sects' holy lands are distributed in a Z-shaped pattern, and they are only a few hundred miles apart. Among them, Yuntian Holy Land is the largest and is located in the center. Suandan Holy Land and Thousand Array Demon Sect are distributed on both sides. But when it comes to the level of excitement, the Qianzhen Demon Sect and Yuntian Holy Land combined cannot compare to Suandan Holy Land. In front of the mountain gate of Suandan Holy Land, people have been queuing up to seek elixirs for many years. Sometimes there are thousands of people. When there are many, there are even tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people queuing up at the same time. For this reason, a market is formed directly in front of the mountain gate of Suandan Holy Land. The day was very lively. On this day, the bustling crowds in the entire city are still waiting for today's elixir to be sent down from the Suandan Holy Land. A fiery red spiritual beast, a big bird, came from a distance. Another person comes to buy elixirs. Hey, why is he a child? This little girl is so cute. What an emergency, a 5 or 6-year-old child was asked to buy elixirs. Many people saw Xiaomi Li'er coming on the bloody red Luan, and couldn't help but talk about it. After all, Xiaomi Li'er was too young, so it was quite strange to appear here alone. But soon, everyone realized that something was wrong. This little girl did not come to Fangxi, but flew directly to the side of the mountain gate of Suandan Holy Land, in front of the test formation. What? This little girl actually wants to worship in the Suandan Holy Land. What a nonsense! Among the three sect holy lands, Suandan Holy Land has the most stringent conditions for recruiting disciples. Such a little kid wants to go in. That is to say, I don't know if her physique or bloodline has inspired her. Xiaomi Li'er was already very eye-catching. Her flight towards the test formation made everyone look over. However, Xiaomi Li'er ignored these people's gazes and put away the bloody red Luan. After getting up, he walked straight into the test formation. Bone age, 6 years old. As soon as they saw this attribute coming out, everyone was even less optimistic. It was too small. But the next moment, everyone was dumbfounded. I saw the test formation, the stone pillar used to test the physical fitness, stepping on the millet grains. After entering, it became bright instantly. Then, a golden beam of light shot straight into the sky. On it, various Dao patterns flowed, and various phenomena of heaven and earth flashed. There were flying dragons asking about the sky, and phoenixes spreading their wings and soaring in the sky. How can it be? Everyone was instantly dumbfounded. Such a vision requires at least a hegemonic physique or above. But this is not the end. Bang! A sudden loud noise shook the world. In that test formation, the stone pillar that showed physical fitness, actually exploded. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 181. What's the situation? Did the stone pillar showing the physique collapse? How is this possible? It is said that this stone pillar in Suandan Holy Land has been tested to reveal the holy body. How could it possibly collapse? This little guy's physique can't possibly be the legendary innate strongest Taoist body. No, no. How could the innately powerful Taoist body appear here? What a joke. Everyone in the market at the entrance of Suandan Holy Land was dumbfounded when they saw the physical stone pillars cracking. At the entrance of the mountain gate of Suandan Holy Land, several disciples guarding the mountain, after seeing the vision of heaven and earth, had opened the mountain door and walked out, ready to welcoming Xiaomi Lear inside. Now suddenly seeing this scene, everyone was stunned in place. Junior brother Lu, go report it to the great elder of the outer section. He said that someone cracked the stone pillar used to test your physical fitness. One of the older Suandan Holy Land disciples ordered the people next to him. But the next moment, he grabbed the sixth junior brother next to him. I saw Xiaomi Lear walking away again while testing the formation. One step. This time, the stone pillar for testing the bloodline also lit up. Buzz. The shadow of a very ordinary spiritual beast, a dragon, first condensed from mid-air. Everyone was relieved when they saw this, and even a little disappointed. This little baby's bloodline is just an ordinary spiritual beast's bloodline. The physical difference between this and that one is a bit too big. However, everyone was not relieved yet. Another top-quality spiritual beast, the bloodline shadow of the red-feathered fox, rises into the sky. What the hell? What kind of bloodline is this? How could there be two? Are you crazy, twin blood? It's too late to wait for everyone to be shocked. Boom boom boom. Bloodline phantoms appeared in mid-air one by one. First there were ordinary spirit beast bloodlines, then top-grade spirit beast bloodlines, and then mysterious beast bloodlines, top-grade dark beast bloodlines. In just an instant, the bloodline phantoms in mid-air turned out to be, there are hundreds of them. Everyone around who saw such a scene was no longer calm. There are legends about twin bloodlines throughout the ages. What the hell are these hundreds of bloodline shadows? In the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Qin Changshen was holding Lu Ruyan in his arms and looking at the situation outside. Then, he and Lu Ruyan were no longer calm. Xiaomi Lear, how come there are so many bloodlines? Lu Ruyan's beautiful face showed great surprise and confusion. Did she eat something different in the past 2 days? Qin Changshen looked at Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran and asked. These days you are always messing around in Linglong Immortal Mansion. When she is bored, she will take out something to eat. It seems that there are some pills that activate blood vessels or something. Amo Ran stood aside and said weakly. Qin Changshen was speechless. What do you mean fooling around? I think you want to be fooled by me. How dare you talk like this? But now is not the time to care about this. Qin Changshen I quickly took a look at Xiaomi Lear's latest attributes. Name, Xiaomi Lear. Age, 6. Physique, swallowing heavenly tyrant body, mutated. Bloodline, none, sealing, unsealing progress is 1%. Realm, Qi realm, perfect. Combat skills, first grade Xian level combat skills, Ice Spirit body technique, perfect. As expected, the bloodline of Xiaomi Lear has an unblocking progress of 1%. This thing actually relies on he had to eat something to unblock it. But what Qin Changshen didn't understand was, how could 1% of the block be unblocked and such an abnormality be detected? But, the matter was not over yet. In hundreds of after the phantom of the Tao bloodline appeared, all kinds of divine beast bloodlines also began to emerge. This time, there were hundreds of them again. In the end, the phantom of a peerlessly beautiful woman also appeared. In mid-air, looking around in all directions. Although the woman's appearance cannot be seen, the marks of Tao one by one around the shadow are extremely conspicuous. This is, the bloodline of the Yunhai realm king level, or it is the bloodline mark of a humane saint. The mark of the Tao, heaven, is this the bloodline of a king? Or is it the legendary bloodline of a humane saint? What is this little girl's background? Everyone is in a mess again. Including Qin Changsheng and the three people in Linglong Immortal Mansion. These two factors, physique and bloodline, are important components of qualifications. Among them, physique is innate and random, that is, even if the parents are ordinary people, the children born may be extremely powerful spiritual bodies, hegemonic bodies, or even holy bodies. But things like bloodline are passed down. The higher the cultivation level of the parents and ancestors, the stronger the bloodline of the descendants may be. Although there are exceptions, the chance is very small. In the phantom of Xiaomi Lier's bloodline, a being with the mark of Tao actually appeared. Doesn't it mean that, her ancestors actually had kings in the Yunhai realm, or were humanistic saints who achieved enlightenment? Of course, this is just anyone else's guess. Qin Changshen, who knew some of the inside story, felt that the problems here might be even more complicated. But, things are still not over yet. After the figure of the woman with the mark of Tao appeared, she also quietly hid aside, as if giving way to a stronger existence. Then, the entire light beam testing the bloodline became a little stronger again. Suddenly, everyone seemed to have the feeling of being outside the sky. An inexplicable pressure fell from the sky and enveloped everyone present. Even in the market, some strong men in the Unity realm felt palpitations under this pressure and had the urge to worship. Only. Boom. The shadow of the strong man's bloodline has not yet been stimulated. The stone pillar that tested the bloodline couldn't bear it and collapsed. The strong pressure also dissipated immediately. This little girl, how powerful is she? I'm going crazy, I almost peed just now. Me too, that last breath was too scary, right? Is it the power of an emperor to be above the king level of Yunhai realm? Or is it the holy power of an authentic saint? No matter which one it is an existence we look up to. Everyone in the entire city said with palpitations. In the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Qin Changshen and the other three were all extremely shocked. Although Xiaomi Lier had also tested the formation in Xianming Holy Land before, the test formation there was, obviously incomparable to the Suandan Holy Land, it exploded directly, and nothing could be seen. Here, we can roughly see Xiaomi Lier's physique and bloodline, some generalizations. And these generalizations are very good. Unbelievable. Moreover, Qin Changsheng could feel that the test formation here could not fully test anything, but only revealed the tip of the iceberg. The experience pack he picked up was too big, it was beyond imagination. Junior brother Lu, you go and inform the inner sect elders. Just say that the stone pillars of blood and physique were cracked. At the entrance of the Suandan Holy Land, several Suandan Holy Land disciples were also frightened and stunned. The leading Suandan Holy Land disciple immediately changed his words. Obviously, this is a problem that even the outer sect elders cannot solve. No need to notify. A majestic voice came from the mountain gate. Then, several figures wearing Taoist robes stepped out of the void, led by a man, who looked 40 or 50 years old, with an immortal air and Taoist bones, so elegant. Greetings to the Holy Lord, greetings to all the elders. Several disciples guarding the mountain quickly knelt down and worshipped. They also said that this incident might alarm the inner section. Unexpectedly, the Holy Master and the elders actually heard the noise and rushed over. Behind them, many the inner disciples of Suandan Holy Land, and even the core disciples, also came over to watch the fun. Name, Lu Yunding. Physique, innate earth fire overlord body. Bloodline of the king of painful pills, rich. Cultivation realm, unity realm, perfection. Combat skills, 5th level Xian level combat skill Earth Fire Vine, perfection. 7th level Xian level combat skill Heaven and Earth Alchemy Furnace, perfection. 7th level Xian level combat skill Burning Heaven and Transforming the Earth, perfect. In the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Qin Changsheng took a look at the attributes of the Holy Lord of the Suandan Holy Land and nodded secretly. King level bloodline. I just don't know if the saint of the Suandan Holy Land will have a king level bloodline. If so, I would be happy. Get up. Holy Lord Suandan said something to the disciples guarding the mountain, and looked at Xiaomi Lier who was testing the formation. Oops, why do so many people come out and look at me? When you look at me like this, I get nervous. When I get nervous, I want to eat. Xiaomi Lier started to feel uncomfortable again when everyone was looking at her. She took out a top-quality spiritual stone and took 2 bites to relieve the pressure. What the hell? The best spiritual stone, eat it directly. Crazy, really crazy, this little girl is here to scare me to death. Physique, so strong that the physical stone pillar exploded. The bloodline, is so strong that the bloodline stone pillar explodes. Can you still eat the best spiritual stone directly? What kind of existence is this little girl? Everyone around felt that their souls were in chaos. This was too beyond everyone's understanding. Little baby, don't be afraid, there is a stone pillar at the end, you keep taking a step forward. Lu Yunding, the Holy Lord of Suandan, said to Xiaomi Lier in a pleasant manner. However, after the dark experience in Xianming Holy Land before, Qin Changsheng always felt that there was something wrong with such a pleasant person, and he didn't know if it was an illusion. Oh! Xiaomi Lier didn't care that much. She only knew to listen to her brother's words and pass the test to enter the Suandan Holy Land. So I took another step forward with my 2 short white legs. This time, the stone pillar showing cultivation level lit up. Qi realm, perfect. Hiss. Although I have long thought that this little guy is very evil, but it doesn't mean that he has reached the perfection of the Qi realm. 6 years old, the bone age is 6 years old, the Qi realm is perfect? How can I survive at the age of 60 and have just entered the Qi realm? That's good for you, there are too many people who haven't stepped into the Qi realm at the age of 60. This little girl's state was probably achieved by eating spiritual stones. How many top-quality spiritual stones do you need to eat? My world feels like it's falling apart. Everyone in the market gasped in surprise and envy. In the Suandan Holy Land, many elders and disciples felt like they were dreaming when they saw Xiaomi Lier's cultivation level. This is really a dream. A little baby with a bone age of 6 years? Little girl, what is your name and where are you from? Lu Yunding, the Holy Master of Suandan, flew directly to the front of Xiaomi Lier and asked softly. My name is Xiaomi Lier, I don't know where I'm from either. Anyway, I flew here. I smell your place, it smells so good. I want to go in and eat. As Xiaomi Lier spoke, she twitched her little nose and swallowed her saliva. This was not her acting, but her real reaction to coming to Suandan Holy Land. In this Suandan Holy Land, people are refining elixirs all day long. The surroundings are filled with the smell of various elixirs. For ordinary people, this smell is not sweet, and some elixirs are even bitter. But for Xiaomi Lier, as long as there is spiritual energy, it is sweet delicious. Aroma? Eat something. Suandan Holy Lord Lu Yunding was confused, and then saw the half-bitten top-quality spiritual stone in Xiaomi Lier's hand, and instantly figured out what was going on. Do you want to take pills? Lu Yunding asked with a smile. Aren't you specializing in elixir making? Although I can't make elixirs, I can eat them. As much as you can practice, I can eat as much as you can, he. Is this considered a skill? Can I join your Suandan holy land? Xiaomi Lear said with a smile. Everyone around felt speechless. You can take as many elixirs as the Suandan holy land can make? This tone is a bit too loud. Ah! Don't you know that there are millions of disciples in Suandan holy land, and except for some new disciples, others refine various kinds of elixirs every day? This is the eastern wilderness continent, so impressive a famous elixir supplier. Many sects order their elixir supplies from here. You actually want to finish them all. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 182. You little kid, you actually want to eat up all the elixirs in my Suandan holy land? Don't be afraid of stretching your own belly. The Holy Lord of Suandan holy land chuckled after hearing what little Loli said. No, Xiaomi Lear's little belly can eat a lot of things, and it will never be full. Xiaomi Lear patted her belly and promised emphatically. Her charming and cute appearance made everyone around her laugh. Haha, what a cute little sister. Sister, there is a magic pill here, do you want to take it? A clear and sweet voice suddenly came from the Suandan holy land. Then, everyone saw a little girl, about 15 or 16 years old, flying out of the Suandan holy land. I saw this little girl. The girl has fair skin, delicate facial features, and her pupils are red, like two blazing flames. Her hair is also slightly red, with two cute little knots on her head. Finally, what's striking is, there are two flames flying on her feet, and she doesn't know what kind of flying magic weapon they are. It's the Suandan saint, Lu Yanran. I chose the Sky-Fire girl from the story, so cute. This is also a monster. At the age of 18, the Chi-Si realm has been perfected. It is said that Yanran is expected to reach the Yunhai realm king level and lead the Suandan holy land to surpass the Yuntian holy land. Yes, the key is that Lu Yanran has an innate Sky-Fire body and is more talented in alchemy than her father. At such a young age, he is already able to refine 5th grade Xian level elixirs. Seeing this figure, many people around were sighing. And in Linglong Immortal Mansion. Let me go, is this a little Neza? Qin Changshen couldn't hold back and laughed wildly. Just because this new girl is so funny. She is very similar to the little Neza on TV that Qin Changshen watched in his previous life. And, her facial features are really, in the previous world, the female star Songzuka who played Neza is a bit similar. Of course, Songzuka in the previous life was a boy played by a girl. This Lu Yanran is a real girl. And she is also very beautiful, very cute, youthful, and beautiful little girl. Neza? What Neza? Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran asked with some confusion when they heard Qin Changshen's laughter. It's okay, no problem. Qin Changshen waved his hand without explaining too much, and then looked at this little Neza. No, it was Lu Yanran's attribute information. Name, Lu Yanran. Physique, innate heavenly fire body. Bloodline of fire spirit Pill King. Realm, Ki realm, perfect. Skill, Xian level 5th grade alchemy. Combat skill, 5th grade Xian level combat skill, Sky-Fire floating body technique, Dachan. The 7th grade Xian level combat skill Heaven and Earth Pill Furnace, Xiaochang. The 7th grade Xian level combat skill Burn the Heaven and Transform the Earth, Dachan. Qin Changshen was extremely satisfied with Lu Yanran's attribute information. His physique and bloodline are actually stronger than those of Holy Master Suandan. In addition, Qin Changshen also discovered something. Among Lu Yanran's attribute information, there is one more, a 5th grade Xian level alchemist. Could it be said that at such a young age, this little girl is already able to refine 5th grade Suandan? The Holy Master of Suandan can only refine 9th grade Suandan. In addition, what Qin Changshen is looking forward to is, what does the appearance of this attribute mean? Could it be that after he robbed her, this attribute could be increased tenfold and returned to him? By then, I'm afraid I will be able to refine the 9th grade Suandan, or even higher. If that were the case, it would be very fun. Outside, in front of the mountain gate of Suandan Holy Land, Lu Yanran had already flown to Xiaomi Li'er's side. She first paid homage to Holy Master Suandan and called her father. Then, looking at Xiaomi Li'er with a smile. Little sister, you just said you wanted to take pills, right? I have a 9th grade elixir here, do you want to take it? Lu Yanran said, and took out a jade white elixir, like a pearl. Holy Master Suandan originally wanted to stop his daughter from messing around, but found that what his daughter took out was only a 9th grade elixir, so he didn't say anything. Yeah. I haven't eaten millet grains before. Such a beautiful elixir. Good on. Xiaomi Li'er's big eyes shone when she saw the 9th grade elixir, and she couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Although there are countless pills in Linglong Immortal Mansion, there is no real holy land for alchemy, whether it is the Gilded Domain or the wilderness. Therefore, among the pills that Qin Changshen grabbed, the highest ones were only 7th grade elixirs, and the quality was simply incomparable to the one Lu Yanran took out. Here, let this be a meeting gift from your sister. Lu Yanran said, and handed the elixir directly to Xiaomi Li'er. After Xiaomi Li'er took it, she stuffed it directly into her little mouth, chewed it twice and swallowed it. Ah, you, don't eat in such a hurry. This 9th grade elixir is very powerful. You should take it when you are practicing. I am sending you to attack the Unity Realm. Lu Yanran was shocked when she saw this. Although she could refine the 5th grade Suandan, she herself had not dared to take the mysterious pill, or even the 9th grade spiritual pill, because she knew very well. The medicinal effect of this elixir is very strong. Just because I saw how cute the millet grains were, and they were still in the perfect state of qi, I thought of giving the elixir as a gift. Who would have thought that this little girl would just eat it? Ah! Others are also frightened. This is the 9th grade elixir. It is the best choice for monks who have reached the perfect realm of qi realm. If you take it properly and absorb the power of this elixir, it can increase the chance of monks who have perfected the qi realm to advance to the unity realm by 20 to 30%. Don't underestimate these 20 to 30%. You must know how many monks who have perfected the qi realm have been stuck in this realm their entire lives, unable to break through the unity realm. An extra 2 to 3% might be a drastic change. But such a pill was actually eaten by this little girl. But, the next moment, everyone's expressions of envy or distress froze directly on their faces. I saw Xiaomi Li'er taking a sip of the elixir. Her whole body, the world seemed to tremble. Then, the one who showed Qiu on the stone pillar, the writing was refreshed. The realm of unity, the first level. What? She directly advanced to the unity realm. Oh my god, how is this possible? The 9th grade elixir is very powerful, and it would probably take an average qi realm cultivator a few hours to absorb it. She absorbed it instantly. Have you broken through yet? I was hit again. I just said that the qi realm was perfect at the age of 6. Well now, I am now a 6-year-old strong man in the unity realm. The future achievements of the Suandan Holy Land may be limitless. The Skyfire girl Lu Yanran was already very powerful, but now there is another, even more evil little girl. Everyone in the market at the gate of the mountain was shocked by Xiaomi Li'er for who knows how many times, and gasped continuously. You actually broke through directly. Break through before me, before me. Skyfire girl Lu Yanran looked at the 6 characters of Unity Realm and Heaven on the cultivation stone pillar with a messy look on her face. Including the Holy Master of Suandan and a group of elders of Suandan Holy Land, they also looked at this time Xi and Mi Li'er's eyes were as if they were looking at monsters. but before he could say anything, a strange phenomenon had already descended from the sky. Only balls of sky fire were seen, like meteors, flying out of the void. Look carefully, you will see the dense Dao patterns on these sky fires. Xiaomi Li flew into the air, looked at the sky fires around her, and her little head shook. Then, she suddenly opened her little mouth. Suck! In an instant, the flames of the avenue flying all over the sky flew into her little mouth one by one, letting her eat it. The people below were speechless again. This little girl, as expected, it's for cultivation. It doesn't matter if you eat spiritual stones or elixirs. The power of the great avenue descended from the sky is fused, she also ate it directly. Not long after, the fire of the great avenue that filled the sky was covered by millet grains. The baby ate it all. Then she touched her belly, burped, and returned to the ground. So fun, haha. When I break through to the unity realm, I will also try to see if I can take in some of the power of the great avenue from heaven. Lu Yanran said excitedly when she saw Xiaomi Li's actions. Everyone had a dark look on their faces. In the future, if you advance and take advantage of the power of the great avenue, won't it become a new trend? Father, please take this little sister into our Suandan holy land. Lu Yanran hugged Xiaomi Li and said to the Holy Lord Suandan with hope. In fact, he didn't need to say it. Holy Master Suandan would not miss the existence of such a monster. Millet grains, right? Are you willing to join my Suandan holy land and be my true disciple? Holy Lord Suandan looked at Xiaomi Li and asked. Everyone heard this, and they were so sad. He is the true disciple of Holy Lord Suandan? This is definitely the top class of Holy Land Suandan. It is said that it is the top class. Over the years, it seems that only some elders have accepted true disciples. Holy Master Suandan has only taught his own daughter and has not accepted any disciples. Of course, everyone takes it for granted. The cultivation level of the first level of the unity realm, in the holy land of Suandan, can be an outer elder. Of course, let alone Xiaomi Li, who is only 6 years old. Even if she is 16, 26 or 36 years old, Holy Master Suandan will not let her become an elder. Because those who hold the position of elder have basically limited achievements, the old man. This little guy's future achievements are simply unlimited, how can he waste time on it? So, Holy Master Suandan made an exception and prepared to make an exception. Xiaomi Li has been accepted as a true disciple. As his only true disciple, his status in Suandan Holy Land, is no worse than that of the elders. Ah, a true disciple? But I don't want to be a disciple. Xiaomi Li said in a daze when she heard what Holy Lord Suandan said. Everyone was dumbfounded when they heard this. This little girl actually refused. You know, this is the true disciple of Holy Lord Suandan. The whole thing there is only one Suandan Holy Land, and among the younger generation, its status is probably slightly lower than that of Lu Yanran. How could she refuse a good thing that so many people dream of? Little sister, don't you quite know what a true disciple is? Lu Yanran was also startled by Xiaomi Li's words and asked. I know, but I don't want to become a master, nor do I want to be a disciple. Xiaomi Li still insisted. Then what do you want to do? You can't just want to be an elder when you are so young. Holy Lord Suandan asked with a chuckle. I won't be an elder either. Xiaomi Li refused again. Everyone around, as well as everyone in Suandan Holy Land, were a little confused. What on earth is this little girl going to do? And Xiaomi Li's next words made everyone almost faint. By the way, and the Holy Master, I don't take the positions of Taichang Elder and Taichang Sect Master. Xiaomi Li said with a serious face. Everyone was instantly confused in the wind. Holy Master? Taizhang Elder and Taikang Sect Master? You don't even take these positions. Little girl, you are I really dare to think and I really dare to say it. In the Linglong immortal mansion. Qin Changsheng slapped his forehead and felt the urge to die again. This little lowly robbed Meccan, I have been exposed to too many things. Although this time, after listening to my own words, I didn't directly yell for robbery. But, the moth still appeared. Because before in the Chaos Mountains, Qin Changsheng robbed the sect's holy land in various ways and wanted to cheat. Those sect leaders and holy masters proposed various positions, but were rejected by Qin Changsheng one by one. That's where the famous saying about wrong answers comes from. This little girl, obviously took it to heart, which led to the current scene. Fortunately, it's not a big problem. Qin Changsheng even had some expectations. This little lowly has eliminated all the wrong options. In the end, there is only one spot left for the saint. It depends on you, Suandan Holy Land, whether you will give her face or not. The third update, more than 12,000 words have been delivered. Please customize and order all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 183. Holy Lord. You don't want to do it, you don't want to do it either, the Supreme Elder or the Supreme Holy Master. Haha, little doll, where did you hear all this? This little sister is so cute. If my cultivation level wasn't as high as hers, I would definitely accept her as my disciple. Even if it is collected by force, it must be collected. The Holy Master Suandan and the Holy Girl Suandan were both a little overjoyed after hearing Xiaomi Lier's words. The others were also laughing. Xiaomi Lier pouted her little mouth and started eating spiritual stones again to relieve stress. Let me see it this way. Let this little sister follow me back first. It doesn't matter where you want to be. We'll talk about it later. Suandan Saint Lu Yanran spoke again. Well, let's do this for now. The Holy Master of Suandan also reluctantly agreed. In Linglong Immortal Mansion. Qin Changsheng couldn't say whether he was happy or disappointed. He didn't expect to cheat directly. After all, there is a saint now, and she is also the Holy Master of Suandan. His biological daughter. Most monks don't want to have children easily. Only when they reach a certain age and feel that their realm has reached the upper limit will they consider the issue of heirs, and then place all their hopes on the heirs. Under such circumstances, it would be great if Xiaomi Lier can attract attention and sneak in. And he followed Saint Lu Yanran in. His second step of the plan will be easier to implement. Under the envious eyes of a group of people, Lu Yanran picked up the millet grains and flew into the Suandan Holy Land. This matter has also come to an end. However, the news that a peerless little evildoer has come to Suandan Holy Land is constantly being spread among the people in Fang City. There's no way, the noise that was made when the millet grains were tested was really shocking, and it will definitely become the talk of the town after dinner. Inside the Suandan Holy Land. It is different from other sect holy places. The interior of the Suandan Holy Land does not have a particularly beautiful environment. It can even be said that the environment here is very bad. Because all the mountain peaks are volcanoes one after another. Yes, this Suandan Holy Land is built on a group of volcanoes. This is also related to the foundation of Suandan Holy Land, alchemy. After all, not everyone can have the earth fire physique of Holy Lord Suandan, let alone the heaven fire physique of Holy Girl Suandan. Therefore, if ordinary Suandan Holy Land disciples want to make elixirs, they must borrow the power of real earth fire, and the crater is definitely the most convenient and suitable location. Therefore, the palaces in the Suandan Holy Land are all built on the craters of the volcano. Thousands of volcanoes of different sizes, in the shape of stars over the moon, surrounds several giant volcanoes in the center. On one of the giant volcanoes, the shape of the palace is a huge alchemy furnace. This is the main peak of Suandan Holy Land, Suandan Hall. That night, in a mountain palace next to Suandan Hall, Sister Yan ran, can I really eat whatever I want? Gudong. Xiaomi Lier swallowed her saliva and asked Lu Yan ran beside her. In front of her, there were dozens of crystal clear elixirs, with dense lines on them, which looked extraordinary at first glance. Aha! This is a first-grade Suandan spirit condensation pill. You have just stepped into the Union realm, and you happen to be taking this pill of the same grade. Lu Yanran nodded and said. He, thank you Sister Yanran. Xiaomi Lier thanked her, quickly picked up one and stuffed it into her mouth. So sweet. Too delicious. Xiaomi Lier said excitedly, with a satisfied smile on her face and her big eyes that made her bend over with laughter. Is it really that delicious? Lu Yanran looked confused and curious. She knew very well that the taste of this Ningling pill was definitely very bitter. How come it turned into sweet when it entered this little girl's mouth? And she looked at the millet grains. That expression didn't look like he was faking it at all. It made Lu Yanran want to try one. This is the most delicious elixir I have ever tasted. Xiaomi Lier said while picking up another one. It tastes good, so just take 2 of them, after all, you have just entered the realm of unity. Lu Yanran said with some concern. However, Xiaomi Lier didn't have any worries at all and ate them one after another, which only made Lu Yanran on the side look dumbfounded. In the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Qin Changsheng held Lu Ruyan in his arms and drank tea comfortably while looking at the situation outside. The first step of the plan was very successful. Xiaomi Lier has joined the Suandan Holy Land and aroused the idea of the Suandan Holy Lord. But how to implement this second step is still a problem. There's no way he could just jump out and steal Lu Yanran. Even if Qin Changsheng was confident, he would be able to avoid alerting Holy Master Suandan. But if you rob her like this, Xiaomi Lier will definitely be suspected. How can she be established as a new generation of saintess by then? This gave Qin Changsheng a headache. It was really difficult to cheat. But when he saw Xiaomi Lier's attribute information, Qin Changsheng became full of fighting spirit again. At the end of the day, Xiaomi Lier took a lot of pills, especially the first-grade Suand pills just now, which made her advance again, directly reaching the second level of the Unity realm. This was because Lu Yanran didn't understand Xiaomi Lier's physique and didn't dare to give her too many high-end elixirs. Otherwise, Xiaomi Lier may be able to advance to the next level. High-level elixir? Thinking of this question, Qin Changsheng suddenly had a flash of light in his mind. He has a crazy plan and is ready to take a gamble. If it succeeds, Xiaomi Lier's chances of becoming a new generation of saints will be greatly improved. With a thought in his mind, Qin Changsheng flew out of Linglong Immortal Mansion and casually arranged a soundproof barrier. Who are you? Suandan Saint Lu Yanran was startled when she saw Qin Changsheng suddenly popping up, and was about to activate her true energy. However, she who is in the perfect Qi realm is not worth it in front of Qin Changsheng who is in the 9th level of the Unity realm. Mention. With a wave of his hand, Qin Changsheng hugged the Suandan saint and sent her into the Linglong Immortal Mansion. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Master, you have successfully plundered the Suandan saint Lu Yanran, and the rewards are being calculated. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Suandan saint Lu Yanran, her realm is the Qi realm, and after 10 times the gain, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Suandan saint Lu Yanran, who has an innate heavenly fire physique, has given back to the Holy Lord after a 10-fold gain. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Lord, Suandan saint Lu Yanran has the blood of the fire spirit Pill King. After 10 times the gain, she will give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Master. The combat skills of Suandan Saint Lu Yanran are, the 5th level profound level combat skill, heavenly fire floating body technique, Dachan, and the 7th level profound level combat skill heaven and earth alchemy furnace, small, Dachan, the 7th grade Xian level combat skill burn the heaven and transform the earth, Dachan, after 10 times the gain, give back to the Holy Lord. Diddy, congratulations to the Holy Master. Lu Yanran has skills and is a 5th level alchemist of Xian level. After 10 times the gain, give back to the Holy Lord. Time and space froze, and the system prompt information in my mind appeared. Qin Changsheng once again felt that his physique and bloodline began to continuously increase. In addition, various combat skills and experience, as well as alchemy techniques and experience, appeared in Qin Changsheng's mind. Discovering this, Qin Changsheng knew that he had made the right bet. This Suandan Saint's 5th level Xian level alchemy technique can also be rewarded to herself after gaining tenfold. Thinking of this, Qin Changsheng quickly opened his attribute panel. Holy Master, Qin Changsheng. Age, 19. Physique, innate fire dominant body, perfect. Bloodline, Luo Dragon King bloodline, rich. The realm of Taoism, the way of harp, half-step saint, the way of sword, half-step saint. Cultivation realm, unity realm, 9 heavens. Skill, king level alchemy. Combat skill, 6th grade Xian level combat skill dragon shadow traceless body technique, perfection. The 7th level profound level combat skill sword lord of the sky, perfection. 8th grade Xian level combat skill Wrath of the Burning Sky, perfection. Qin Changsheng simply ignored any small changes in combat skills. There are only 2 things he focuses on, the first is his physique and bloodline. Lu Yanran, known as the Skyfire Girl, has an extraordinary physique and bloodline. Qin Changsheng's physique has directly transformed into an innate Fire Lord. In the ranking of hegemony, the innate Fire Lord hegemony is much more precious than the innate Sword Domain hegemony. Qin Changsheng is still very satisfied with this point, because the innate Sword Domain hegemony is no longer of much use to him. He is now using his sword to prove the Tao and has become a half-step saint. With the wave of his hand, everything in the world can be turned into a sword, which is more powerful than the innate sword field hegemony. And in terms of bloodline, from the original bloodline of the 5-clawed golden dragon of the holy beast, it was upgraded to the bloodline of the Luo Dragon King. The bloodline of the Dragon King, this is the bloodline of the king class. Qin Changsheng has been coveting it for a long time, and now he finally got what he wanted. And the second point that Qin Changsheng is most concerned about is the alchemy skill. This is also the core of his crazy plan. Fortunately, he made the right bet. After plundering Suandan Saint Lu Yanran, he indeed received 10 times the reward of alchemy, and directly possessed a king-level alchemy. What is king-level alchemy? It means that Qin Changsheng can refine king-level elixirs. You must know that the Holy Master of Suandan himself can only refine 9th grade Suandan. In other words, Qin Changsheng's alchemy skills at this time were already superior to those of Holy Master Suandan. This made him more confident about his next plan. After a while, Qin Changsheng felt that Lu Yanran had almost understood the situation, so with a thought, he entered the Linglong Immortal Mansion again. At this time, 2 seniors, Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran, were still softly comforting the newcomer Lu Yanran. But no matter how comforted she was, Lu Yanran's fiery red pupils were still full of surprise and collapse. I was actually robbed. And this guy has robbed so many saints along the way. Sister Yanran, I'm sorry. Xiaomi Lier stood aside and apologized weakly. Sister doesn't blame you, sister knows that you were also forced by that bad guy named Qin Changsheng. Lu Yanran touched Xiaomi Lier's head with pity and said. No. No. Brother, he is very good, really. Xiaomi Lier wanted to explain, but she didn't know how to explain, so she could only worry. And at this time, Qin Changsheng happened to come in. "That's you. Big bastard." Seeing Qin Changsheng, Lu Yanran stood up suddenly and glared at her. She was possessed of an innate fire spirit body. When she got angry, her whole body would glow with fire, like a little fire person. The word burning with anger really meant, demonstrated vividly. Come, why are you so angry at such a young age?" Qin Changsheng smiled and waved. Calm down, calm down." Lu Yanran cursed angrily. "You snatched it from me and you still think I'm angry? If I didn't know that you have advanced cultivation and are a half-step saint with dual certifications, and I can't beat you, believe it or not, I will let you know how violent this girl's temper is." Qin Changsheng also discovered that Lu Yanran's temper was definitely extremely hot. Before, she had always restrained herself in front of Xiaomi Lier. However, Qin Changsheng is not in a hurry. "Lu Yanran, right? How would you feel if I told you that I robbed you of your opportunity?" Qin Changsheng lifted his robe, sat down opposite Lu Yanran, and said with a smile. Now, it's not just Lu Yanran. Even the two girls Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran couldn't help but roll their eyes. "This bad guy, you stinky man, is really becoming more and more shameless. You robbed me, and you even shamelessly said, it was my chance? Opportunity? I believe you as a ghost. You big bad guy." Lu Yanran didn't believe it even more and said angrily. But the next moment, Qin Changsheng said a few words. Lu Yanran became quiet instantly. What Qin Changsheng was talking about was the skill he had just obtained. King-level alchemy. Fantasy, I robbed millions of saints. Author, The Dream of a Million Saints. Chapter 184. King-level alchemy. What do you mean? You will never tell me, you know the king-level alchemy technique. After hearing Qin Changsheng's words, although Suandan Saint Lu Yanran put away some of her temper, she still had a look of suspicion and disbelief. It's simple, because her father, Suandan Saint, doesn't know how to make king-level alchemy. Even in the entire Suandan Holy Land, there is no inheritance of king-level alchemy at all. After the ancient turmoil, many sect holy places have experienced a cliff-like catastrophe. The Suandan Holy Land has not been spared. Of course I will. Otherwise, how could I say it was your chance? Qin Changsheng chuckled. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Don't you come from the wilderness, and moreover from the eastern wilderness region. Even my Suandan Holy Land is gone, and the inheritance of king-level alchemy is gone. How can you have it? Saint Suandan still doesn't believe what Qin Changsheng said at all. Even Mo Ran and Lu Ruyan have helpless looks in their beautiful eyes. This bad guy? He's so good at deceiving. In order to deceive the holy maiden of Suandan, you dare to say anything. Returning the king-level alchemy skills. You don't seem to know how to make alchemy. What would you say if I refined a king-level elixir? Qin Changsheng asked with a chuckle. In his cheating plan, he wanted to refine a furnace of king-level elixirs. In this case, it would not be a bad idea to make a bet with this little girl. If you can refine the king-level elixir, from now on I, Lu Yanran, will follow you wholeheartedly. If you go east, I will never go west. If you say you want to kill someone, I will never set fire to it. Qin Changsheng was ashamed. Could this little girl also be a robbery enthusiast in the future? Just watch it. Qin Changsheng said with a smile and flew out of Linglong Immortal Mansion again. However, he opened the restriction of Linglong Immortal Mansion's ability to see from the inside out, allowing Lu Yanran to see the situation outside from the inside, but she could not fly out on her own. I want to see what this big bastard can do. In the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Lu Yanran could not run out. She could only sit angrily and wait for Qin Changshen's performance. Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran also watched with complicated hearts, whether Qin Changshen could make elixirs. Suandan Holy Land, Saintess Pavilion. After Qin Changshen came out, he first came to the warehouse behind the Saintess Pavilion. The various heavenly materials and earthly treasures required to refine king-level elixirs are also extremely precious. Fortunately, Suandan Saint Lu Yanran is a 5th grade Xian-level genius alchemist and is loved by the Holy Lord Suandan, so there are a lot of good things piled up in the warehouse. According to Qin Changshen's habit, he should have collected all these good things. But for his own cheating plan, Qin Changshen held back and just took a few random items inside. Then, Qin Changshen came to the alchemy room of the Saintess Pavilion. Inside, there is a red alchemy furnace, which is densely covered with various mysterious Dao patterns and formations. Humph, I look at this guy, he doesn't even know how to activate the earth-fire formation. In the Linglong Immortal Mansion, Lu Yanran couldn't help but muttered. But the next moment, Lu Yanran was dumbfounded. She saw Qin Changshen holding a few spells in his hand and casually hitting a few rune marks. The scarlet red the alchemy furnace suddenly became brighter, and the whole body was filled with a layer of purple flames. How is it possible? In Linglong Immortal Mansion, Lu Yanran suddenly stood up with a look of disbelief on her face. Sister Yanran, did he trigger the earth-fire formation? Amo Ran was standing aside. Seeing Lu Yanran's expression, he couldn't help but ask. She and Lu Ruyan were also a little confused at this time. Why does it look like that bad guy really knows how to make elixirs? Earth-fire formation? No. Not the earth-fire formation. He activated the most powerful red fire Xiantian formation on my alchemy furnace. How could this happen? How could this happen? I have an innate sky fire body, but I can only activate the sky fire formation. How can he activate the red fire Xiantian formation? Are you sure, is he an innate sword domain hegemon? Lu Yanran asked Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran as if she had seen a ghost. Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran were both frightened by this girl. Before, he was indeed an innate sword domain hegemon. However, based on his experiences along the way, this person's physique and bloodline seemed to be changing. So what it is now, we are not sure. Amo Ran replied with some confusion. Sister Yanran, is there something wrong with the fire array he activated? Lu Ruyan, who was at the side, also asked. Because they could all see that it was not easy to make Lu Yanran so excited. There is a problem, of course there is a problem. For alchemists, physical fitness is extremely important. A good physique can represent how high the alchemist will be in the future. Ordinary alchemists, if they do not have a fire attribute physique, or if their physique is not enough, they must rely on the earth-fire formation to make elixirs. That's why our Suandan Holy Land is built on a group of volcanoes, because without the support of earth-fire, many people are unable to activate the earth-fire formation to refine elixirs. Like my father, if you have an innate earth-fire body, you can activate the earth-fire formation even without the support of earth-fire. And I have the innate sky-fire body, so I can directly activate the sky-fire formation to make elixirs. But this guy actually activated the red fire Xiantian formation. This must be a fire formation that can only be activated if you have an innate mysterious fire body, or even a better physique. The more Lu Yanran explained, the more frightened she became. The innate black fire overlord body is already a very powerful existence among the overlord bodies, and there is only one left above, the innate fire lord overlord body. No matter who it is. One and all, they definitely have the ultimate hegemonic physique that alchemists dream of. Ah, this monster, isn't he getting stronger again? I really have some doubts now. This guy might be able to make elixirs. Lu Ruyan and Amo Ran, you look at me, I look at you, the expressions in their beautiful eyes are complicated. Along the way, they witness this evildoer's defiance time and time again. But I never thought that this monster could actually make elixirs. Saintess Pavilion, in the alchemy room. After Qin Changsheng activated the red fire Xiantian formation, he sat there quietly and waited. He. In the alchemy furnace, there was the sound of the air being burned out. This means that the temperature in the alchemy furnace has reached the requirements for refining king-level elixirs. With a wave of his hand, Qin Changsheng threw in hundreds of top-quality spiritual stones. Qi La. In just an instant, those hundreds of top-quality spiritual stones melted into a ball of hot spiritual liquid. Under the impact of the extremely strong fire power around it, this group of spiritual liquid would not fall at all, and would just be suspended in mid-air, constantly rolling. Qin Changsheng flicked his finger, and a green spiritual fruit flew from his hand into the alchemy furnace, and instantly turned into a ball of green spiritual liquid. But the miraculous thing is that this group of spiritual liquid did not merge with the spiritual liquid formed by the top-grade spiritual stone. It was just wrapped in it and rotated smoothly. This is also the purpose of the top-quality spirit stone spirit liquid, which protects the spirit liquid made of other materials from being burned directly. The first time he tried it, Qin Changsheng was very satisfied. Next, one kind after another of heavenly materials and earthly treasures were thrown from his hands into the alchemy furnace without any money. Under the control of Qin Changsheng's fire and time. Some of those heavenly materials and earthly treasures were turned into liquids, some were burned into powder, and some were condensed into crystals one by one, and then they were all wrapped and protected by the spiritual liquid turned into top-quality spiritual stones. The first step, the tempering process, is over now. Next, is the most difficult thing, condensing pills. Because when refining elixirs, there are extremely strict standards for the weight, temperature, and even form of each natural material and earthly treasure. If there is a slight deviation, the elixir condensation will fail, and what will come out will be a furnace of waste. After confirming the process in my mind, Qin Changsheng put his mind into the alchemy furnace and began to make alchemy hand seals one by one, controlling the heavenly materials and earthly treasures for matching and fusion. And at the same time controlling the red fire Xiantian formation, the temperature sometimes rises and sometimes drops. This is also the time when the alchemist's skills are most tested. Not only must you multitask, but you must also be extremely precise, without missing a beat. In the Linglong Fairy Mansion, he really knows how to make pills. And how is this method of alchemy? How is it more advanced than the one in Xiantian Holy Land? Lu Yanran hasn't sat down since she suddenly stood up. She stared at the outside world, where Qin Changsheng was frantically refining elixirs. His pretty face showed fear, confusion. A pair of fiery red eyes, I don't know how many times it has been magnified. This bad guy, can he really refine king-level elixirs? It's very possible. I suddenly thought that although this guy is very bad, he never seems to tell a lie. He always does what he says and does what he says. Lu Ruyan and Mo Ran were also paying attention to the situation outside, and then their hearts were shaken. It's not certain whether the refining can be successful. The most difficult part of every furnace of elixir lies in the final condensation of the elixir. Lu Yanran said, still very unconvinced. But at this moment, her beautiful eyes widened a bit again. Oh my God, what is he going to do? He actually wants to use the spirit condensing alchemy technique to condensate the elixir quickly. Go crazy. When my father was refining the 9th grade Suandan, he didn't even dare to condense the elixir quickly. Lu Yanran was shocked and worried at the same time and exclaimed. Because at this time, Qin Changsheng actually activated another formation on the alchemy furnace. This formation is to quickly cool down the alchemy furnace to speed up the process. Condensing elixirs. Under normal circumstances, the time to refine a furnace of elixirs increases according to the quality and quantity of the elixirs. An ordinary furnace of mysterious elixirs may take several hours. For 9th grade mysterious elixirs, it takes about 12 hours. King level elixir, I am afraid it will take 24 hours to ensure the success rate of condensing the elixir. Of course, there is another way, which is to use formations and alchemy hand seals to quickly cool down the elixir. But this method will reduce the chance of condensing pills many times. What Qin Changshen is using now is this method. How crazy does this make Lu Yanran? Brother, what can you refine? The king level elixir is ready. Let's wait a moment and let those heavenly and earthly treasure spiritual fluids condense more tightly. Why don't you? You are in such a hurry, if you fall short, it will be completely useless. But, no matter what, Lu Yanran was so worried, but it didn't help. Qin Changshen had already activated the formation. As he watched, the temperature in the entire alchemy furnace began to drop rapidly. The billowing spiritual mist spewed out crazily. In less than a day, in the time it took to burn the incense, all the spiritual mist dissipated. 6 crystal clear elixirs, like night bright pearls, flew out of the alchemy furnace, spinning in mid-air. I saw that the elixirs were densely covered with every time the various mysterious runes of the avenue turn, they seemed to have a vague connection with the surrounding heaven and earth. King level elixir, Yun Dao elixir. He actually refined a king level elixir. Moreover, all 6 elixirs in a furnace were successfully condensed, which was perfect. How is this possible? Where did he come from? In Linglong Immortal Mansion, Suandan Saint Lu Yanran was shocked at this time, and her eyes were a little dazed. This is the first time in her life that she has seen someone who can refine king-level elixirs. And it still refined 6 perfect quality king-level elixirs at one time.